picked on, spat on, called names every day. Do you think he's gay then? Do you think? And it wasn't at all. It was just that I loved women. I just loved beauty. He pulls out this big blade because he carries a knife everywhere he goes. And the day I started there, I'm not going to say who, passed me an 8 for cocaine. And he's like, welcome. And then I lost my virginity. And at the same time, I took my first ecstasy tablet.
That's a hell of a night.
It took a very, very dark route. And that's when things just got from bad to worse. And I shouldn't have snorted it because that's dangerous, really dangerous. And I ended up having an overdose really bad. Fuck me. It was Pulp Fiction. They give you it and you go... And all I could see was my dad's face at the end of the ambulance.
Just a quick one. I want to thank our main sponsors, Bauer Security. They're a UK-based security firm that cover the entertainment, industrial, corporate and construction industries. I'm going to leave the links to their Instagram and their website below in the description so you can contact them direct. You can also find my own social media platforms down there too. And if you've got this far and you haven't yet liked and subscribed to the channel, can I ask that you do so? It takes 2 seconds, costs nothing, and it helps us improve the experience for the guests and for those at home watching. Thanks again. Your support is greatly appreciated, and I hope you enjoy this one.
Paul,
Yes!
thank you for coming on.
Liam, thanks for having me and putting up with all my shit.
Mate, I'll be honest with you, it's a pleasure. I mean, I've watched you for years.
Have you?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I've watched you for years. You're very entertaining, very sparkly, very handsome and explosive.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Anyone that watched Celebrity Big Brother will know you're explosive.
Yes.
You're an explosive character. You're interesting. You're entertaining.
And that was the weakened version, like the more damped down
That
version.
was the watered down version.
That was, yeah.
We'll come to that.
Yeah.
Because I know it'd be very easy to just jump into that, but people are going to find out more about you before they get the juice. I want to know how you got into acting, because I know you've done a lot of reality TV, but I still think of you, you're an actor. Soul from Hollyoaks. As far as I'm concerned, you was the best character on the programme.
Thanks.
And a lot of people I speak to, they say the same thing. So I remember you as Soul and all the other madness afterwards. We can get to that and people will understand why there was madness.
Yeah.
But so, what was you like at school? Because I know that you've been diagnosed with ADHD in your 40s. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So when you was at school, for example, what was your behaviour like? And what was your home life like?
So I was always like never as good as the best, but I was never the worst. So I felt like that was me in the middle at school. And I went to quite a strict grammar school, Orthodox Jewish school when I was younger, in Stamford Hill. And then when that moved to Essex, it was a split. So the girls were in one bit of the school and the boys were at the other. And like at lunchtime, you know, I'd literally be like a commando on my elbows trying to crawl across the grass to get to the girls' school, you know, always trying to get to the girls. That was like what I remember, like, and then being on the coach, and you were mixed on the coach to go, it would give you a lift back near your home, and like that's when you see the girls, you know. And for me it was like they were like my first drug, you know, like, yeah, look at those legs, look at that, you know, the boobs were forming, and like it was all just like suddenly started to kiss girls and this, that and the other, and found this amazing friend that, you know, fancied the shit out of, but became best friends with her. And it felt like girls understand me better than guys do. And I think for years, maybe my parents, my older brother Jay, maybe were like, do you think he's gay then? Do you think? And it wasn't at all. It was just that I loved women. I just loved beauty. And I was also quite sensitive, because addicts are the most sensitive people in the world. And I don't even like saying I'm an addict, because that doesn't define me.
So your first addiction was
women.
girls.
Yeah, it was girls. And clothes. And I remember like just really kicking on my dad's French, and went to see his sister in Paris, and all those shops, Chevignon and Chippy and all those. I'm actually, sporting a very old school chippy jumper, as we can see, which your assistant picked out. It's a very good choice, I think.
It's a blinder.
And
Good choice, sir.
The old granddad jumper. But no, but like I really, and I'm still like, if I can find some choice pieces from back in the 90s, I will, because I was so into that. And I don't know what that is, because that's exterior, and as we know, it's an inside job. How's that going to fix me internally? But even as a little boy, I needed something to fix me, because I wasn't obviously all right inside.
Was anything happening at home?
Probably. Yeah, probably. But I didn't know if it was bad. I think it was more, I was scared. I was just fearful of, like, maybe, you know, the relationship of my parents, whether it, you know, you always get scared, are they going to stay together? And, you know, when you hear rows and stuff, and as a child, that's really scary.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
Regular?
Yeah. So it was kind of frightening. And my dad back then, is, you know, come from the French Foreign Legion, lost his parents very young, 6 brothers, 5 sisters, grew up in Morocco, then moved to Marseille, and, you know, went to in the Legion there, and, you know, and it's very strict. It's very, you got to be, you know, one hard mother to go in that, and then meeting my mum, they got introduced through my uncle, and yeah, they just were like, yeah, so in love. But there was a lot of early days. There was a lot of friction, and me and my older brother, we just didn't know if he was going to leave, if he was going to stay, and I think that stuff stays with me, and obviously made me very scared of not having them there and not seeing him a lot, because he works so hard, and you know, he is my hero. He's amazing. He's like my everything. But I was frightened, you know.
That he was going to leave.
Yeah, that he was going to leave, that you were going to get the belt. So no wonder why I liked to escape. And my escape was music, Michael Jackson. I'm sure you've heard that a lot from people on podcasts, because I keep hearing it. But Michael was a big thing for a lot of people.
Our age.
Yes.
Massive.
You know, he was one of the big factors of why I wanted to perform, escape, and he was one of us. You know, one of you know, a traumatized little boy that needed something to self-soothe. So all the years I was always trying to self-soothe. So when it came about of like 11, 12, 13, you're seeing a little drink or a joint, it was appealing, or a cigarette, you know, to start. And
what come first, the drama or the drinking and the joints?
The drama, yeah.
I just want to bring you back to the drama first, because the drug's going to come. But I think
I don't even want to talk about drugs, but it's such a.
I know
isn't it bad though?
No, it's not bad at all. It's good, because you're going to feel a lot lighter after this, and also it's important. It's part of your journey. But also, I just don't want to steer away from the fact you're an actor. And I know you as an actor, so I want to keep a balance of...
Yeah.
So you remember who you are.
So I won an award at this grammar school for oratory. And I was like, went and got it, didn't know what it was for, didn't know what it meant, went back and sat down. My mum was like, no, that means you speak well. So even then, even though they didn't do drama, GCSE, or they didn't do those type of subjects in that school, they still recognised that in me at like 8 years old, 9 years old. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I got in a play there, must have done a play. And then I said, look, Mum, I think I want to go to some sort of theatre. So I went to this Sunday kind of amateur, I don't know, semi-pro kind of theatre company locally. And Tamsin Outhwaite was there, and a few other people that were in it as well, because we're all from the same area. And we did Oklahoma, the musical. We did The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. And I got to like play a Southern American, and I got to like hear all these amazing songs and watch all these dancers and see all these girls in basques. And like, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And I was like this little kid just like wanting, and I'm seeing the adults, the older lot, say Tamsin's age, and like they're all like going to have a little joint, or a little, and I didn't know what that was then. You know what I mean? And now I think about it, and it's only now I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking, oh, God, yeah. So they were, you know, but I was intrigued, and I wanted to be like them, wanted to be hanging with them, and they let me hang with them a little bit. And just to have them be like that a little bit was enough for me to feel wanted, feel part of.
Accepted.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole thing. It's like wanting to feel part of something. And these shows I loved doing it, and I got the bug, and I just said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, is be on stage. And yeah, I went to a local Sylvia Young class, and one day one of her people came in and were looking for someone to be in EastEnders, just like a walk-on extra bit.
And what age would you have been now?
11.
Oh, as young as that?
Yeah, and and I went on, and I played with Ethel's dog Willie, and I was riding around the square on a bike. Just had the best day ever. And I couldn't. My balls hadn't even dropped. And I just went up to director. I went, if you ever need me again, I'd love to come back. And that was it, man. I was sold. I felt like I'd arrived. Felt like I was at home.
What were the cast like towards you?
Amazing.
Anyone stand out in particular?
Well, I fell in love with Daniela.
Westbrook.
Yeah. And me and Paul Nichols, who played Joe Wicks, we became good friends, and me and Dean Gaffney became really good friends. And you know, they were quite young in it. It was really early on for them. And my parents got a place in Spain. Dean was in Fuengirola, Marbella, and he called me. He said, "I'm here," and he was really famous for being Robbie. I wasn't no one, and he come pick me up on his moped, and we like drove down Death Road, which is like all the way from Benalmádena to Marbella, and there's one road, and like most people die on it, and there's me and him on this moped, like it was crazy. And we got to wherever we got, and everyone just swamped him, and they loved him, and he was this spotty little kid, but they loved him, and they're like, where's Willard? And I thought, I like a bit of that. I'd want a bit of that.
You like the adulation?
Yeah, I liked that everyone loved him. Do you know what I mean? So these were and he doesn't know that, you know, he's one of my main, like, it's mad, isn't it? So I said to my mum, right, I want to go to drama school. She's like, no, you need to do your GCSEs and everything. So I said, well, I can't even do drama at this school. So I left at 14, this grammar school, and I went to a local high school called West Hatch. We had like Sally Gunnell and stuff, people like that had been there. But it was proper rough, and it was hardcore, and like there was probably about 1,000 kids. Do you know what I mean? Very white Christian. There was like probably about 6 Jewish people, maybe 10 Indians, and the rest. And so it was just like we were just meat to them. We were just like picked on, spat on, called names every day. And who did I gravitate towards? The girls. And they hated it. They just hated me being near the girls, getting all the love, and they were brought up obviously anti-Semitic. So, you know, at lunchtime I get, you know, buns thrown at me, just whatever, man. And then it just got to a point where it was just like, this is fucking horrible.
And how old was you at that stage?
14.
That's mad to think even 14-year-olds are prejudiced.
Yeah. I blame the parents. You know, because it's just like, well, what have I done? Do you know what I mean? And my mate Lee, bless him, Lee Binder, we were very into Michael Jackson together. We went to the Dangerous tour, and we got there the night before and put ourselves in black bin bags so we could run across the pitch of Wembley Stadium and get to the right at the front, holding on the bars. And we did, but he didn't last it. I did. I toughed it out the whole fucking gig. But he got on like with all of them because he never once really mentioned that. Not that I went around saying, yeah, that's what my religion was, but for some reason, he just got, like, he'd been there years, he was in with everyone, and I was good friends with him. I'm like, Lee, man, like, you got to stick, but he never really stuck up for me, he just did his thing. And it's like, you got to find your way, Paul. You got to kind of get, you know, and me and this guy started together, Jamie, and we got on really well. And he had some shit as well. He wasn't Jewish or anything, but he literally was like a new boy as well. But he managed to kind of like get hard, get quick, get a piece of wood tucked away in the forest, ready for anyone. I wasn't doing that. I was just thinking, fucking hell, what am I gonna do?
Where's the girls?
Yeah. But But then it got on top. And then the rumour was, you're getting it, Paul, after school. You know what I mean? I was probably going to get beaten up. And I was like, this is fucking bad. So there was always like a phone and in the school. So like in the middle of the kind of walkway when you go from lesson to lesson. So I went to the phone. I got out of the class probably 10 minutes before the bell went at the end. And I went to the phone box, and I don't know how you could do this back then, but I just phoned my brother, who was sixth form. He, within 10 minutes, got his crew together and was outside for when the bell went off. And his school was all the way in Clayhall, and we're in Chigwell, which is good 10 minutes away. But I don't know how he did it. Your brother's in trouble, I'm fucking there. He's my older brother. And he was friends with this black guy called Kwamina, who was like 6'2". So Kwamina and the boys come down. They have a word with the guys. Hey, here, you want to beat up my brother? Oh, you want to beat? Yeah, you fucking, what's he ever done? Well, he throws his bag around, and he's always with the girls. So, you ever touch? You go near him and blah blah, and they never came near me again. They never touched me. Never said another bad word, and that was it. And I just thank Kwamina for that. I really do, because they were scared.
Thank God you did have a support network.
Yeah.
And how many years older?
My brother, 2 years. So we're very close in age. So,
but when you're 14 and 16, that's quite a big gap, isn't it?
It
you
is.
take notice of
Absolutely. And I looked up to him, and he influenced me with all music and everything. And then obviously he started raving, and I'd see him get in at 6 a.m. and I'd think, what's all that about? And we'd go to Spain, and then I lost my virginity. And at the same time, I took my first ecstasy tablet. And
that's a hell of a night.
Not the same night, but the same holiday. And that was where I was really learning suddenly about escapism, but oh my God, if this pill can make me feel like this, then this is the best thing in the world.
What did you prefer, sex or ecstasy?
It was both. They're both brilliant. And the rest is kind of history in the way of like how it all started, and my brother had his friends and I had my friends, but we all became friends together, and basically we were like these, we were into Jim Morrison and Hendrix and Zeppelin, and we were like always had friends that were incredible on guitar, and we'd all just literally be like hippies and just smoke weed every day and just music, just be influenced with abundance of music. And it was the grunge era. It was a grunge, so we were very into like Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Smashing Pumpkins, like proper, Seattle grunge. Yeah. So friendship was very important back then, and I had some great friends. And the fact that my brother let his friends be my friends and him kind of be all right with that. But there was a stage where we didn't talk for 2 years. We literally didn't say a word to each other, because I was doing kung fu and karate, and so was he, and we used to fight each other. And one day I think the fight just went a bit too much, and we both went, right, that's it. I ain't talking to you. And we honestly
have time out for a few years.
Yeah. But it got really sad. And when we went to Spain with like his best friend, and his mate went, Jay, I think you should start talking to your brother now, And suddenly we did, and oh my God, it felt so, because he was the guy that saved me, wasn't he? Really. So and it's interesting now where he is and I am, and we've always. But I've got a younger brother as well, Josh, and he's just Mr. Straight, most kindest, loving, amazing guy, and doesn't take drugs, he's so not an addict,
Oh, good.
Because he probably looked at both of us and thought, fuck that.
Is your older brother an addict as well?
He's in recovery, but he's just got more on the mental health side of things.
Because a lot of it's hereditary in it as well. It's certainly documented.
It looks like there is something, and I always thought, well, my mum and dad don't drink or do drugs.
Maybe their parents did.
Yeah, and then I found out some stuff, and then I looked at my dad and I think, well, no, you're a workaholic. You absolutely, still to this day are working your arse off, and he's 73, and, he shouldn't be, but he can't help it. He loves it. He loves working. I think that's his escape. Well, yeah.
That's the thing with addiction. It isn't just drink or drugs. No. Work, porn,
money,
exercise.
Yeah. Food.
I mean, if you sacrifice everything for one thing, that's an addiction.
Yeah.
That's the best way to define addiction.
Yeah.
And if you give up one thing for everything, then you're on the road to recovery.
So true, isn't it?
It's the one, isn't it?
I know. Again, it's like, what? It makes sense to not give up one thing to have everything, but still, how powerful is that? You know, because when everything's all right or when everything's really bad, you know, it calls, it says, hey. And it will get me round. I always say this, like, it will try and get me through shopping, then food, then women, then gambling, then drugs. So it all like, so I'll think, oh, it's all right, I've only just done a little bit, or it's all right, I just bought, you know, a new top. But they are the signs. You're going to end up doing cocaine again. No, I only bought a new top. Why would I be doing cocaine again? Don't say that. I like that top. But that is the sign. And every time, guaranteed, it's always done that.
That's the thing with addiction. People don't realise it isn't just one thing. You drink, you then take the coke, you then watch the porn, you then gambling on your phone. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. There's 4 addictions under one roof.
Yeah.
And you've got to try and beat all of them at once. Yeah. Like, there's respect over this table as well, because I know it's not easy. It's easy for people to judge that have never experienced it or been there or know someone dear to them.
Yes.
But when you're in the grip of that addiction, if you've got the mindset and you're stoic enough to come out the other side and look back and think, whew, I made it. Yeah. Or even, I'm progressing.
Yeah.
Massive respect.
Yeah.
So between the age of, Spain when you were 14, lost your virginity, done your first E.
Kirsty, she was lovely.
Do you still see Kirsty?
No, but recently we have spoken actually, randomly. She was going to go back to Spain and we were going to, you know, because I still go back there.
Were you her first as well?
No, and the worst thing, oh God. The next year I took my 2 best friends, Andrew and Richard, and Andrew had not lost his virginity, and all year I was looking forward to seeing Kirsty, and we were chatting, and I thought, wow, you know, I'm going to see her again after losing my virginity with her, and I see her on the first night and all that, and the boys decided to go to the beach and do acid or something, and my brother wouldn't let me do it. So I walked her up and said goodnight. I thought, no, I won't come on too strong the first night or whatever. And then she started getting a liking for my best friend Andrew. And back then, and tell me what you make of this, we didn't really know what to make of things like this because we didn't know about feelings or resentments or code of conduct.
Yeah, the code.
Right? We were just young boys wanting to lose our virginity, and I'd already had, and this was my girl, but for some reason he took a liking to her, and then the next minute I didn't get in there quick enough, or I assumed we, you know,
he was an item.
But I would never have thought my best friend would do that, and he did, and he was so like, and then I remember him saying, "Oh, have you got a condom, mate?" Like on just the last day before we were leaving, and I gave it to him. Now, I knew I was upset and hurt, but I couldn't label it. I couldn't voice it. I didn't know how to. I was 15. I was furious. And I've only just got friends with him again recently.
Would you trust him again?
I will never forget it. Let's just say that, because it was my first, pain. It really hurt. And I didn't know what to do with it. So I suppose I was just hiding it with more hashish. You know, more like, because I didn't go and be with anyone else. That's how much I liked her. I don't think I went with anyone else that whole holiday. And I went home feeling like, fuck, that didn't go to plan. All year I've been waiting for that. And Andrew did it. Like, what? And she looked so good. You know, so I don't know. That was another, for my first, experience of
another trauma, rejection.
Of rejection. Thank you.
Yeah, betrayal, rejection. Not nice.
No,
not nice. Especially when you're of an age where you can't make sense of any of that, and you're sort of lost in the source of it. Or it's like, fuck, what is this feeling? I can't digest it, make sense of it. And you don't know what questions to ask. Have you ever felt this before? You just...
Yeah, and I couldn't understand why he didn't say sorry. He didn't even say anything. he was just like, I had to act like, yeah, well done. You got laid. Right? Because we had this like thing where they had to come down with like this uniform on, waving this mop with his underpants on his head and the Lufthansa strap. It was like the most stupidest stone thing we made up. But if anyone got laid, they had to do that and buy everyone ice creams. So he came down that morning and I'm like, yeah, you bastard. Yeah, I'll have an ice cream, yeah. You know, and then the audacity of you got a condom, mate, because I've run out. Oh!
Yeah, I feel your pain.
I'm not over it.
Maybe have a chat with him this weekend.
He lives in America, but I will.
Zoom him. Andrew, I've got to talk about something that happened 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Not quite over it yet. But saying that, betrayal will last a lifetime.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
How many women have you slept with in your life?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Tens, hundreds, thousands?
I think we're definitely in the higher range.
What? Are we closer to 1,000 than 100?
I think we're definitely more than 1,000. Yeah.
It stands to reason you are sold from Hollyoaks and you're a handsome man.
Yeah, I just enjoyed
making love.
Yeah, and being with you. Yeah, and I think there's a bad thing, a flip side to that is because now I really miss it.
What, making love?
Yeah.
Why, have you gone celibate?
No, it just don't happen like it used to. And you have to be really careful that if you're looking at like 25, 30, you know, and they look fucking 20, 25, you know, is that wrong? Is that right? Are you all right to even kind of fancy someone, let's say 25, 30, they're not really on your level because you're 45 and you're talking about Chippy and Chevignon and they don't know what the fuck that is.
Music tastes are completely different.
Absolutely.
Films.
Yeah.
You know, you're watching Rita Sue and Bob too,
yeah.
and they've never heard of it.
And you called your son De Niro. Oh, why? Because you think he looks like money or something. No, Robert De Niro. Oh, who's that? Right, you're gone. If you don't know who Robert De Niro is, fuck off.
I'm glad. I'm glad that your age bracket there that made you feel an element of concern was 25 or 30. I'm the same, but now we get people in their 30s and 40s not even questioning, should I get into an entanglement with a 21-year-old? I mean, I'm 44.
Right.
I would have nothing in common with a 30-year-old. Literally nothing at all, let alone a 20-year-old. Yeah. So I'm glad that you said 25 and 30.
But the thing is, I know I'll end up, please God, if I end up married and whatever with someone for a while, because I think that's why I've really stayed single, is just trying to find the right person, really the one that I really gel with, that's got my back and I've got theirs.
Mutual understanding. Yeah. It's essential, isn't it?
Yeah, but I do think that I am looking more at the 30 range because for some reason I need to be attracted. I'm not saying that there are 40-year-olds that I'm not attracted to, but there's something in me that...
But are you still highly sexed?
Yeah, I think so. I think the tablets and the drugs and the medication has probably not really helped, but thank God it's never really hindered too bad.
Because when you was in Hollyoaks, what was that, early 20s?
No, I was younger. I went to, my mum said, do your GCSEs, then we could talk about drama school. I got into Italia Conti, but it was very expensive, and my dad was also sending my brother to uni. But he said, look, I'll pay for it if you really want to do it. They knew 90% of actors are out of work, do you know what I mean? But he did it. And I went to Conti's, got a degree in performing arts, because they said you got to do everything, not just acting. You got to learn how to sing, dance, move, elocution, stage fighting, everything. Musical theatre, double work, tap, jazz, modern, fucking hell, ballet. All right. Really? But it was the best thing I ever did. Do you know what I mean? It was incredible, man. It just blew me away, and I knew I'm going to do this. I'm going to make my dad proud and make that money worth it. And the minute I left, I got with Sylvia Young again, and then within 6 months, she had me an audition for Hollyoaks, and I saw what it was, and I thought, yeah, it's like 90210, but British. This is cool, man.
Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, that's what Hollyoaks was. That's what they were trying to copy a bit. So I knew he'd done Grange Hill, Phil Redmond, and I knew about Brookside. And that was when I was doing my method acting. And Lee Strasberg was the kind of, I don't want to say inventor, because I don't know if he invented it, but Strasberg is the main guy. And Anne Strasberg opened a school in Camden, and I went to that school, and David Bennett was my teacher, who trained with De Niro and Pacino. So fuck man, I was in, and I just got hooked. Once I like something, I want more of it. Anything.
So method was your drug.
So method was my drug. So then when I went for the audition for Hollyoaks, I was like making all these method acting exercise noises. And one of them is like just where you go, ha! You just really let it out, and you just let out all your just everything that's inside you to clear your mind to become whoever you're about to become and play. And the daughter of the casting director went, Mum, there's a man in the that's about to audition. He's making all these noises. What's wrong with him? She went, no, that's a real actor, darling. And I got the part, didn't I? I went, out of all those hundreds of people, they were looking for a new family. And I did an improv in front of Phil Redmond. It was like Elimination Day up in Liverpool. This was like the third time of being called back. And people were leaving and they're like, no, Paul, you stay. And in the end, we had to do a scene where I was coming back. I'd not been home for days. The police were after me. My mum was going crazy. I walk in the pub and we just started improvising. And we were improvising and she was screaming and then she slaps me. I slap her. No, or did I not slap her? I didn't slap her back. No, she slaps me. Then we're crying and Phil Redmond just was like, oh my, wow. Because it was believable. And he was like, and I didn't know. And I got on the train and we were looking at like the other guy that was also down to, and the other mum and the other sister. We're like, but you've got that accent. How's that going to work? And in the end, he just jumbled it all up. He didn't give a fuck. He just went with the actors that blew him away. And then Sylvia phoned me and said, Paul, pack your bags. You're going to Liverpool. And that was the day my life changed.
How did that feel?
Oh, it was amazing to actually finally, I always said I was always just in the middle. To finally be there and to actually win. It was like I'd never won anything apart from that oratory award. Do you know, it was really amazing. It was a big deal, man. It was, and I could see how proud my parents were, like all that hard work, bless my dad. So, yeah, moving up there was a big deal, was a massive thing. And I was in a boy band at the time. I was their rapper, obviously. And we were doing all right. We could have got a deal, but one of the guys got arrested, so he's not alive anymore. And these were two gay guys. One, he turned gay, actually, and I'm the rapper. But we did gay clubs, and that was my experience around, and Conti's was around gay people. And I loved it because they were so out there and they didn't care. And they were like the girls. I could chat to them, do you know? And they were like, come on, but it wasn't my thing. I wasn't gay. I wasn't going to, and I think a lot of, I don't know, as I said earlier, yeah. But I just knew who I was and what I wanted. And I was like, I was like the Fonz,
Hey.
Yeah. But I couldn't be that chilled because I had ADHD, little did I know. So I was like, hey, But yeah, man. And then going up to Liverpool and everything and then getting there and seeing the cast, thinking, I hope they're not all flash. That was my one big thing I thought in my head. I hope they're really not flash.
What were they like?
They were so lovely.
Cool.
Yeah, and Will Mellor just comes up to me and he's got this like little convertible BMW and like, let me show you around town. So he's like doing 150 miles an hour around fucking, I'm just like, oh my God, like, because it was just cool to drive fast, I suppose. And we just got on really well. He took me under his wing and I love Will for that and we've stayed friends ever since. But I was a little stoner. So I was still like this kind of, stoner raver, so I was like this modern hippie or whatever, fuck knows. And suddenly I'm on this TV show and these all look like quite cocaine-y people. It's not very ganja and ecstasy and hugging and acid. It was like a lot more like, money, cars, but they weren't up their own arses because we're up north. And that's the great thing about up north. is they're fucking down to earth, man. And everyone was like a family. The crew were as important as the actors. The actors were as important. Everyone just partied together, loved together, fucked together, worked together. It was mental. It was like I couldn't keep up with it. It was so good. And so for my head, I was constantly busy. And that's what I like being, is busy and always having something to do. So it turns out that the two people that were playing my sisters were at Italia Conti with me. So I was like, oh, this is amazing. So we all lived together, me and the two girls, and it was brilliant. And no, I didn't cop off with any of them. They stayed like my sisters because I was method. So I just really made them my sisters. And that was the boundary, you know.
What about the barmaids?
Yeah, I was known as the extras whore, because I would literally every day, they would have like these models from Nemesis, was the model company, which was where they got the extras from, because they wanted beautiful people in the background. And every day I was just like, hi, these models, man, it was unbelievable. So I want to do my best, you know. So like I'd do my scenes or whatever, and then I'd be like, what are you doing for lunch? And they'd be like, oh, nothing. What, why? I'll come back tomorrow, you know. And every day I'd have a date with a different girl. And it was just brilliant for 4 years. No, because I ended up getting engaged to someone. But before I met Rachel, which was this girl I met who was the love of my life, she you know, I really got that time to have a good fun and enjoy being a star, I suppose. But they never told you how to handle fame, women, money.
Did the fame sweep you off your feet?
Because, well, everyone's just blowing smoke up your arse, and you're trying to stay down to earth hippie, right? So it really like, shit, this is suddenly people recognise me. Suddenly I've got like all this money in the bank and I want to buy some clothes, no? But my addictions, right, funnily enough, weren't playing out. Maybe with women they were, but mainly it's because I had work. So because I had it taken care of, I didn't need to destroy myself with drink or drugs or anything. I did party and it did get worse. And the day I started there, I'm not going to say who, passed me an 8 for cocaine. And I didn't even really know about coke. And I was like, oh, all right. And he's like, welcome. I was like, wicked, all right. And, you know, it's mad, isn't it?
Was that the first day at Hollyoaks?
Yeah.
First party?
First day, first read-through. I hadn't even filmed anything.
So it wasn't even a party?
There was a party that night, yeah.
So he gave you the 8 ball for the party?
Well, I don't know. He just gave me it to welcome me. That was what you got when you started.
Wow. And you hadn't touched cocaine up to that point?
Not really. I didn't give a fuck about it. I did it once and it didn't do anything like ecstasy did, so I thought it was shit.
So that night, did you tuck into that 8th?
Oh, the whole lot, yeah. And I just like remember being at 6 in the morning in the hotel room because I didn't have a place to live at that point. The big breakfast was on and I was just like, oh my God, I'm still awake. I've got to get the train back home to tell my mum how it was, you know, and I'm fucking tired and knackered. And it was weird when that was the start of the devil.
Yeah, that's quite an introduction to cocaine. There's an 8th. And was it proper?
Yeah, I mean, it's from the docks. Can't get more proper than that, can you?
No.
You know, but yeah, you know, like that didn't stop me from doing anything. I was off money and this was my platform to learn about acting and learn about the technical side of it, because you can be an actor on stage and be ready, but the difference between stage and TV and film is massive. Everything is so much smaller on TV. It's all about just literally an eye movement, whereas on stage it's big and it's so much when you got more room and you got more, whereas you'll be out the shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you have to learn to get to your mark, hit the light, you know, all this technical stuff. And I was just a very off the cuff. So they were like, whoa, Paul, you're a bit like, because I'm just, you know, but then I realised about stillness and that's what De Niro's so good at. He just does that one look, and it's like, wow. And that's what you suddenly learn more about your craft. And then there's the whole thing of the tear stick, the crying. We haven't got time. Just put this on and it'll look like you're crying. I'm like, no. You'll have to wait. Just need to. And, because I always wanted to be as authentic, and I just grew as an actor, and they just started to see, wow, this guy's amazing. He's got the eyes. He's got the, they did a special like filter on my eyes to make sure that they were always shown, like, not to change they didn't do anything to my, but just the light. They wanted it on the, and they did it certain, and she knew what she wanted, Jo. She was an amazing producer. And she just started saying more for him. And I just got these storylines. So every night they would give me, because the parts got bigger, 9 scenes a day. And each scene could be 3 minutes. Dialogue. Then you'd have to forget all those 9 scenes and learn another 9 scenes for the next day. And I was thinking, how the fuck am I going to learn all these lines? Because I'm a smoker. The memory's not the best. So I made myself this rule that I can't light the joint until I've learnt the lines. And so I would learn my lines and every night and that was a good thing because I wasn't out there spending money and going crazy and doing, I just was in the game, in the craft, wanting to do well. And then I'd learn them all. I'd test myself quickly and then I'd light the joint and it'd be amazing. And then I'd wake up in the morning thinking, fuck, I hope I remember them.
Forgotten them again.
And I'd be on set and they'd be there. And I'd think, wow, I've developed a muscle memory and it just gets stronger and stronger. My friend Nick, who's still on it, he can literally go, yeah, done. And he'd learn the lines like that quick. He'd just go, okay.
Yeah, it's an incredible talent, that is.
How'd you do that? I mean, that's because he's been in it now 25 years.
Muscle memory is a great way of
honestly,
looking at it.
It was phenomenal. And it got better and better. So then but if you're out of touch of learning lines, like lately when I get auditions, I'm like, fuck. And I've learned speeches like that for a long time. So, you really develop a lot of skills. And I think people don't realise how tough it is. A soap opera is the closest you could get to an everyday job from a 9 to 5, because acting, you never know when you're going to work. Now, people would come in and have 2 episodes. They say, you're so lucky to be a regular in this. I said, well, what do you mean? They said, because it's so tough out there. And I was like, wow, yeah. Not really understanding what they meant, because I was in a job. Every day I'd have a job. And I'd get paid 3-4 grand a week at 19 years old. It's mental.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of responsibility.
And I wasn't really doing much with the money. And then in the end, my friend Jeremy Edwards, who played Kurt in it, he was the original first guy. He said, oh, buy a property, talk to, buy somewhere. And thank God for him. And I bought a wicked place and I've still got it now. So that's lucky because not much of it else is left. But it's a lot of money back then.
It's a lot of money now. It is. And a hell of a lot of money back then. How was you treated on set by not just the cast, but the directors and producers?
Really lovely, well. Yeah, really well. They really they really loved me. Yeah, they really did. But the funny thing is, they've never asked me back because the press ruined me so badly, and painted this picture of me. And that's what's so annoying is because everyone else was doing it. I was just the one that got caught.
So did the press destroy your Hollyoaks career?
No, not at all. They didn't. I'm talking about later on.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Why Hollyoaks didn't have me back.
Yeah, how did it come to an end?
Right, I wanted to leave. I was like, right, it's 4 years. I started to get really don't know. I just started to feel, oh yeah, I'm an actor. Dad, I need to play other parts. I'm a serious actor. I want to go to America. I want to go to Hollywood. I want to go and get an agent out there. And I just wanted to get out. I wasn't feeling it anymore.
What was the stint of you in Hollyoaks?
4 years. They weren't happy. And because I was breaking my contract, I was like, no, I just want to go. I just wasn't happy, but I had started to do drugs on my own a bit. So the cocaine was partying with them. When we had days off, we'd drink, we'd get on it, we'd chat shit, and it was wicked, and we'd shag and whatever if with the girl. You know, like it was just brilliant. But it kind of fizzled out a bit, and then, you know, it's a progressive illness. Suddenly, I find myself, you know, doing it on my own. And I'd always be all right, never be like, fucked filming. No way, I wouldn't be able to handle it. And that's the truth. But like, I did feel it progressing. So I'd go down every weekend to my parents, and suddenly I wouldn't go down. I'd just stay up there on my own and get an eighth.
And how old would you have been at this stage?
22. So I started at 19, 22, going on 23, you know, near the end. So I think that had its, because I obviously wasn't content anymore. I wasn't happy. I think a lot of storylines had happened. My mum had died in it. Not my real mum, obviously.
Soul's mum.
Soul's mum had died. Kate, the sister, had gone. It really was fizzling out, and I think even Danielle, who played Gina, she was in it. So it was just literally me left arguing. I just thought, I need to go and do another job. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go and do films because that's what I wanted to do.
So here's a question for you. So you've played Soul for 4 years, and you've put your heart and soul into it. When you decided, I want to evolve, go into films, which means you can't be Soul anymore, the actual separation, did it feel like you were separating from someone? Was there heartache involved?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Well, from
you must have formed a relationship with Soul.
Yeah, and I think we even went to Barcelona and did the Boys Do Barca, which was a whole late night episodes, and that was fucking amazing. But at that point, I had met Rachel. I met her at Glastonbury, and we were really close. We got engaged. She got pregnant, and I didn't see her all the time because she obviously was down in London. And I got to a point where I think that was a big factor. I wanted to be close to her, and I wanted to play other roles. So I just made that decision to get out. And when I left, I did feel like I was leaving a massive part of me behind, it was like I was leaving Soul there, and I would come back and rejoin later on at some point. And because that hasn't happened, it's been really hard to accept, because they've had a lot of people come back and they never did me, and it was the biggest character on it. So I just, all I can see by just sane mind is, Paul, what did you do to really fuck up your acting or like your relationship with them, because they loved you? Is it because they're pissed off you left?
What happened after you left Hollyoaks?
I got asked to present The Priory with Jamie Theakston and Zoe Ball. So I was their outside broadcaster, and I would basically be waiting by, say, a burger van by Stephen and Fred's house or whatever. These are made-up names. The Zoe would be speaking, "Hi, is that Stephen? Living at number 4 Windmill Crescent or whatever?" "Yeah." "And your girlfriend Jane has set you up. Paul Danan's waiting down the road in a Bite-A-Burger van. If you run down there within 1 minute and eat 5 burgers, you get £500, you know, in cash." So I'd always have to have, and I had a wicked little crew with me, like production people. We'd have to go all around England, and they'd always bring me a 4-pack of Kronenberg, because I'd need that little bit of Dutch courage before I do it, because it's live TV, like live as fuck.
Ah, so was that more nerve-wracking than playing Soul?
Because you're not a character.
Right.
I'm being, and I'd never done it before, so it was like, this is weird. I have to be me. So who is me? Am I funny? Am I this? Am I that? Or am I a little, you know? So, and they loved it, man. It was hilarious. And I'd shove the food in their mouth, and I'd always give them the money. And, it was just so exciting. And I don't know if Jamie Theakston, whenever I'd see his face, I don't think he loved me as much as Zoe. Zoe just like was being hysterics. She just loved it. So they kept asking me to do it. And they were the same people that made TFI Friday. So it was a wicked production company. And then they were the people that did LMT&x. So I was in with all of that. So, so I left Hollyoaks and started getting in with the big players, but in a different kind of way. And then I went and done the Edinburgh Festival with an award-winning playwright, and I played in The Desires of Frankenstein. He was the monster, but a beautiful boy, and Igor was his servant, and he'd go and get food. Yes, master, yes, every day, and he'd come back. I got some, please, may I? And I'd be like, oh, go on then, and he'd give me a blowjob on stage. In this theatre, this little hunchback. It was so fucked up. It was a really kind of crazy gay playwright who was amazing.
Was it an actual blowjob?
No, he would fake it.
Okay.
But I was his master.
Because I know your method, you see.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no. Good point. I just wouldn't. No. This guy, he's a good little actor. But yeah, it was funny because people would think, because we made it so believable, and he'd go, "Thank you," and because I'd it was hilarious, and I thought, "What the fuck am I doing?" But it was just to show, I'm an actor. Yeah.
Did you ever consider getting into porn?
Yeah.
I thought that would suit you.
I really did, and literally, I was close to it. Maybe. I don't know, I did a film a few years ago, and the guy that did all the makeup and the prosthetics did horror porn. So he said, they wouldn't know it was you, Paul, you know what I mean?
You can't just do normal porn, can you?
No, because I want to hide my face. He said they get paid a fortune. Literally, they come with suitcases, cocaine, fucking money, everything, feed you everything you want, give you some Viagra, boom, put a fucking, scary mask on you, and you're off. And you get 10 grand, do you want to do it? I was like, do you know what I really could do with that money? It's very tempting, isn't it?
What put you off?
Oh, I'm an actor. I'll be all right. But it's interesting, isn't it? It really does go on, and it's available if you want it. So,
Yeah.
And because I quite like porn, kind of thought, yeah, I'll give that a go. But no. Thank God I don't have to do that, and I haven't had to do that. So, yeah, fast forward, man, and the addiction started to take toll, and I started to, realise that I was doing it, once or twice a week on my own. I'd left Hollyoaks, and I'm with this amazing girl, but she's older than me, about 8 years older, and she's pregnant, and I go and do this panto with Sue Pollard.
So this is now on from hosting the Priory.
Yeah, first year after I'd left Hollyoaks. I'd gone to America to meet this casting director as well through Sylvia, and he was a wicked guy, and he did American Pie and Legally Blonde and those type of films, Joseph Middleton, a really nice guy. And he invited me for dinner one night, and I'm like, didn't even realise, but the whole night I'm sitting next to Stifler's mum, but I didn't know. and yeah, I just had a laugh, and they loved me, and they were selling me. I ended up getting a manager called Mark, who's still my manager out there, and he managed James Gandolfini, who's Tony Soprano. So I got friendly with Jim. And he was an amazing guy, God rest his soul.
Yeah, what an interesting guy to know.
Yeah, really lovely guy. And we were going to do a film together and everything, and it's such a shame that he passed away.
So young as well.
Yeah.
Did you learn a thing or two from him?
Yeah, I just learned his humility was incredible. When he came to London, he'd been to the Gulf War, to see the troops. The troops loved him. And Jim, Mark would call him. So Mark would call me and say, Paul, can you hook us up a nice weekend? We're coming from there. He's gone to see the troops. We want to go out. Can you get us any, some bits and bobs? Of course. And I tell my brother, because I didn't watch Sopranos at the time, and my brother and my friend Shiri, they were obsessed. They were like, no fucking way is he coming. I said, please let us come, please let us go. All right. So we got to the hotel room and he's there and, you know, he pulls out this big blade because he carries a knife everywhere he goes because of New York, growing up in New York. How did you get that through customs? Like, I just don't get it. I didn't ask him how, I don't think, but he'd been talking to the troops and whatever, and he obviously was this very VIP type guy, but you would never come across like that. But he was going through a divorce at the time and something really, really upset about the kids' situation. And we were there to meet a director for this film called Kill, Kill, Faster, Faster, which unfortunately didn't happen, but I got a part in it, and James Gandolfini and Rosario Dawson were the leads. It could have been mine, you know, might have done a lot for me, but it didn't happen. Anyway, we take him out to Soho House, I booked, and China Whites, and literally, like, and my friend Pete, God rest his soul, had all the best cocaine in the world. And James just pulled out all this money, and he must have bought, I think, 5 or 6 grams. He left 1 or 2 at the hotel and bought the rest and poured it on the knife. And me, my brother, Shiri, you know, Tony Soprano's basically feeding us with his knife. And then he's like, right, the car's outside. Should we just walk? And like, I'm not going to do the accent, but we're like, yeah. So we're walking in the winter. It's kind of snowy. He's got this little bobble hat. With James Gandolfini, you know, Tony Soprano, down fucking Leicester Square, around Covent Garden, and we walked to Soho House, and we walk in there, and we get a few drinks, and then he's like, let's go to the toilets. So I'm like, right, okay. And I felt really like the one in charge, the one that's organised the nights. It's all on Paul. Like, Paul, make sure you take us to the right fucking places and that everything goes all right. And because I'm seeing the reaction from my brother and my friend, and they're like really thinking this guy is the body. And I knew he was, but I didn't realise how big, you know. And we go into the toilet, and the guy that's working in there, he literally just grabs him and just puts him outside. It's like, hold on, what? Like, you know, 1 minute, we just need to do what we got to do. And he puts his back to the door, and the guy's banging on the door like, let me in, I work in there. I'm a toilet fucking attendant. Gets out the knife, pours out the, you know, again, each of us, and we're like, okay, thanks, Jim. Then he opens the door, like, and then lets the guy back in, and goes like, you can't fucking do that. And he just looked at him, and it's like, and he, you know, moved out the way. He's big, he's tall, and he's massive. And we sit down, and the Soho House woman, she comes to my ear and she goes, Paul, I know that he's James Gandolfini, but like, you can't be doing things like this. Like, you know, you're going to have to leave soon. And I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't know that was good. Like, I promise it won't happen again. But I'm not telling him off. Like, if he wants to behave like that, you know, it was just mad. And then we get to China Whites, and literally they parted ways. I've never seen people react like this when you walk in with someone like him. And we had this booth, and we had the best night ever, but he sneaked off. And I ended up meeting the best girl that night, taking so much drugs. It was brilliant. And then I said to the guys, come on, I've got a bit of money. Let's stay in the same hotel. Because he's got 2 grams left in the room. And he did, and he put his credit card, bought us all the drinks, like bottles and bottles and bottles, like thousands. But I could see he was upset man, you know. So anyway, I'm shagging, we're all in the same room. It was crazy. And then I say, right, I'll go down to the room. I'll knock on his door and ask him if he's got a pick-up. I hope my mum doesn't listen to this. and I swear, I knocked on the door, and I knocked again, and he answers the door in this dressing gown. And he looks at me, and it was like it wasn't him. He'd obviously done all of the gear. That's 5. And it was the strongest, I swear. And he just looked through me. Like, it was like it wasn't him. And he just looked so angry. And before I could say anything, I just went, oh, sorry. And I was like, it's all right, I'll let you. And he didn't say anything. It was the look It was like that look you got to do on TV when you practice it was this look of like, fuck off. Don't fucking knock on my door. I didn't have even the chance to say, have you got any car? I was like buzzing on all these pills. I'm like, scared, scary. And it was the last time I ever saw him.
He gave you the De Niro subtle stare.
Yeah, like, you ain't having my gear.
That's my gear.
I'm in the middle of a wank, you bastard. Yeah. A very expensive one. So it turned out that Mark went the next day and he ended up staying in that hotel room for 2 days. But yeah, bless him. I never saw him again, never did that film. And obviously it was a big loss for Mark. But we stayed, like, he stayed my manager, you know, out there. So when I go to America, so I lived in Los Angeles for 3 years. So I moved out there. And yeah, it was amazing, man. I had a good time, but I was very lonely out there. And that's when the drugs really took over.
When you was over there?
Yeah.
Coke?
Yeah. And one night I couldn't even get any, and I ended up getting crystal meth. And I was up for days, man, and it was horrible, and I didn't enjoy it. And I just thought, well, I'll never do that again. But I was lonely. I took my girlfriend out there for a bit, but it didn't really work out with her out there. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. They were selling me as like this young, new Jude Law type guy. And you can't party and do well in Hollywood. You know, you've got to be healthy. And I was young, and I was like still a bit crazy. I met this girl called Ashley, moved in with her, so gorgeous. She was at FIDM, which was this fashion school, and I was doing my auditions, and it was cool, man. But I just ended up getting into the wrong type of routine of drugs over time, because I choose, the biggest thing I can't handle is rejection, but I choose the one job that gives you more rejection than any other job.
Cool, yeah.
And I'm auditioning all the time for big movies.
Off your head while you're doing that?
No, not off my head, but tired from the night before.
So you're auditioning on a come down?
Yeah, a lot of the time.
That sounds like hell on earth.
Yeah.
That gives me anxiety thinking about it.
And it's very hot, and they want you to do the American accent.
Was you being encouraged to take these drugs?
No. Sourcing
it all off your own back? This is what I want to do, so I'm going to do it. There weren't a group you was with saying, go on, have some of that.
No, I was just...
Because that's self-sabotage, isn't it? Knowing you've got an audition, but choosing to sit up smoking crystal meth is...
No, I didn't smoke it. I just snorted. I didn't even know how to do it. But that, I didn't have an audition when I was doing that. And most of the time, I wouldn't do it if I had auditions, but I was still just not as good or as on form as I could have been.
You got to be sharp, ain't you?
You got to be sharp. And you know, it wasn't like I was going always to an audition hungover or on a come down. No way. But a lot of the time, my life revolved around either getting stoned, or going to a gig, doing a bit of coke, or doing a pill, or there was always some sort of drugs or drinking involved, because there was a lot hanging around, a lot of learning lines and just waiting to get that part. And I don't know, the people out there, America is very drug orientated. If you're kind of in that young, I was in my 20s, do you know what I mean? So I was just finding my feet, but the one thing I needed was family or friends around me, and
support network.
Yeah, and I didn't, and I found it hard to kind of, it was like the drugs filled that void. They were my friend. They were keeping me safe and warm,
keeping you company.
Yeah, but they don't, do they?
No, they don't. They're your worst enemy.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you come back from LA to
So I come
UK?
back from LA every 3 months because of the visa.
Ah.
My mum's like, oh, any work? No, but I'm going back. Any work? No. You look browner, but you look skinnier and no work. No. And I'm like spending money, And then I got a couple of things. Then I got this film, this Cheaper by the Dozen with Steve Martin as the boyfriend. And I was like, Mum, I've done it. I got it. So I rehearsed it with the director and the kids and everything. Like, it was going to be brilliant. So they said, yeah, okay, because I was with Mark, and Mark looked after James Gandolfini, and he was the best fucking manager out there. So basically, I get the part. I'm so excited, but then the director bumps into Ashton Kutcher, who he had just directed on a film called Just Married with Brittany and Murphy. And he says to Ashton, "Oh, hey man, I'm doing this new film with Steve Martin. You know, like I've got this English guy. It's only a little part, but like if you want to do it, you can." And he went, "Yeah, I'll do you a favour." And so they phoned me up and they said, "We're really sorry, Paul, like, but Ashton said he'd do it." "What do you mean? So I'm not doing it?" No, sorry. You know, and it had happened to me before with Orlando Bloom with a film called Calcium Kid, where I got the part, and the casting director in the end said, "Look, we're going to go with Orlando," because he had been in The Hobbit. It's Ashton Kutcher. You know, it's like, who's Paul Danan? Out there, no one. So you have to be very lucky, and even if you're lucky, you got to be filming to actually celebrate.
Yeah, shit, that's an
So
anticlimax.
it was a really, really big blow. It was heartbreaking. I do remember kind of like me using that night, or just like, you know, just turning again to self-soothe.
And how old were you then?
25.
Midway through your 20s, and that was your go-to now, your regular go-to. If there's a problem, I'm using.
Well, yeah, or having a joint, or having a drink, or just something just to
Clock out from the disappointment.
Yeah, and it turned out that I was getting everything that had an English accent, but anything that was American accent, which they wanted English actors to do American accents because they love the way we act, because they think we're better than the Americans, but they want us to be American. But every English role I did a couple of cool things. But yeah, I came back very skinny with a great suntan, 100 grand less. And my mum said, "Well, you're not going back there anymore." "What do you mean?" "No, you're not going to, you're not, it's killing you."
Bad for your health.
And it was. Ashley was killing me because she was, God knows with who, all the time, because I was back and forth. So I knew this fit bird was getting so much attention, even though we were together. I was paranoid. I was doing all sorts of drugs. Yeah, so.
Did you come back with a habit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so by this stage, it's now got a grip.
Yeah.
Coke?
Yes.
And booze?
No.
Just Coke. Oh, so you were dry sniff as well?
Oh, yeah, I didn't, yeah, totally.
Because that's a different, I mean, people watching this,
Yeah,
it's a different ballgame, isn't it?
Totally. Oh, yeah, I would just, that's all I didn't want to drink, but I would soon find out that there are painkillers that ease that come down, and that's dangerous, because when you start to combine the kind of
Uppers and downers.
yeah, and then you're like realising, and then you're aching more after a big night and whatever, whereas it never used to happen, and especially when you're not drinking as well, you start to try and find solace in ibuprofen or Nurofen Plus or whatever, and it's dangerous because there's a lot of, habits that get formed that way when you think you're not doing anything wrong. There's housewives out there addicted to fucking
codeine.
Yeah, which is heroin. Sorry, housewives, but it is.
It's terrible. I know people with codeine addictions. It's bad news.
Yeah, it's painful. I've had codeine addictions for years and years. It's been probably one of my main, that and cocaine have been the two biggest. So yeah.
What about Valium?
No.
Because Coke and Valium go hand in hand, don't they?
I just can't get it. Oh, Matt, can we have 2 minutes?
Yeah, go on.
If I would have been
What do you
into
call
that, I know.
Right, let's go back to LA. But listen, Geezer, just quickly. I'm enjoying this, brother.
All right.
I'm enjoying this.
Good. Okay.
So in LA, you had a night with Madonna. Is that right?
It wasn't LA. So when it's a little bit back. So before I moved to LA, I went to when I was in Hollyoaks. I was very into, as you know, my music and everything. I was really into the Prodigy, and I kind of friendly with Liam a little bit, and Kitty, who's Maxim, the MC, and used to go and watch them live and stuff. And I knew that they were up for an award at the MTV Awards in Milan.
Did you ever get friendly with Keith as well?
Yeah, But me and Keith, because we both had a thing with Gail Porter, so there was a little bit of animosity with each other there. We got on. Well, he's in this story quite. Actually, I'll tell you. So I said to the producer of Hollyoaks, I think I should go to the MTV Europe Music Awards in Milan and represent Hollyoaks. What do you reckon? Why do you need to do that, Paul? Because we need to be seen worldwide, everywhere. And I think it'd be a really good idea if I took. So I wanted to take Tash, who played my sister. She played a character called Kate. What if I go with Tash? We'll represent. Just send MTV a Hollyoaks headed fax or whatever at the time, saying, could we get? And so they did. The publicity department did, and they got us tickets. So. It was just like that's a real ADHD thing, coming up with ideas like that, just because I wanted to fucking go hang with bloody, the Prodigy and whoever. I didn't know who was going to be there, but man, it was wicked. We got to Milan, we were in some little hotel, I remember it was cold, winter, November time, a big jacket, really nice jacket I had, like with all my stuff and my little disposable camera, disposables. Got to the awards and watching it, and it's Madonna and all George Michael and all these people winning awards, and then the Prodigy win Best Dance Act, wicked. They win the award. There's a little after thing afterwards that we had tickets for in the venue. And we're having a drink and a chat, and there's Liam and the guys and Louis, and I'm like, "What are you up to? What's going on now?" They're like, "Yeah, we've got something. Do you want to come with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, wicked." Had no idea where we were going. Said to Tash, "Come on, we're going with the Prodigy." So we get in this minibus or whatever, and driving through Milan. We pull up outside this fucking incredible house. And they're like, "This is Donatella Versace's house." I was like, what? No way. It was Gianni's, and he gave it to her, and it's like their main house. And there was this red carpet, went on for ages, and we get there, and we were early. So Keith and me, we go to the toilet. He goes, "Have you got any gear?" And I took literally 2 little lines for me, and I was saving them. But it's Keith. We're on a gold-plated Versace toilet in a cubicle. What better time to get the only lines you've got out and do them with him? So I did, and he never even thanked me. But basically, whatever, and I didn't say that it was all I had, but it was, and I'm thinking he'll sort me out later, I'm sure. Yeah, right. Your head goes, yeah, that'll be all right. That's a good one, because then he'll definitely so we go up one floor, and there's all these tables, and everyone's sitting, and there's waiters, and we're on the Maverick table, which is basically Madonna's label, because they had just signed the Prodigy on her label Maverick for America release. So we're on Madonna's table. So suddenly I'm sitting down. It's like, me, the Prodigy guys, Tasha, because Liam liked her. And then Madonna, she just comes and sits down. That's her place. And so I'm literally sitting eating, and it was just like bizarre. And then the next minute, there's this guy who just goes, so like that, and I'm turning around. Who is it? I swear on my life. And it's George Michael. Call him, so come here. And he sat at the other table. He's like, "Me and Kenny, we love you. We watch you every Sunday. Just wanted to say we love your character." I was like, "Oh, thanks so much. I think you're amazing, And it was just like, I was saying, "Tasha, this is mental." Then there's all the Spice Girls and Lenny Kravitz, and it was literally everyone, but the coolest. Then there was Praz from the Fugees, and him and Madonna were kind of, you could see getting it on. Then there was Pharrell, and he was no one really knew him back then. And then after the dinner, we go upstairs to a nightclub in this fucking house. And Tasha, I remember, she ended up stepping on Madonna's toe, and there was this whole big thing. I was like, "Tash, oh my God, what have you done?" Anyway, we moved from there. Madonna's getting off with Praz, this tall black guy, really cool rapper. And we go to a club. to a nightclub. We leave that place. We're all a bit drunk or whatever, but I was still really together. And we get to this club and there's Damon Albarn and like we're all sitting on that table and like Massive Attack and like kind of, and it's the Prodigy just know who's who and who they're friends with. And so I take off my jacket. It's got all my stuff, even my passport, everything. And I put it down and I see this girl and we start snogging outside, this German girl. And we're snogging and we're really getting into it. And then basically I was like, I better go in and just see where the guys are. And I go in and it's just Damon sitting there with someone else. I said, have you seen where Liam and all that lot have gone? And he's like, oh, they've gone. I was like, what? What do you mean they've gone? Where have they gone? I think back to the hotel. And I'm looking for my jacket. My jacket's not there. I'm thinking Tasha's probably got my jacket. I'm thinking, I'm stuck with this German girl. I don't know where they're. I just want to go and party with them. Keith owes me gear. He owes me a lot. I know they've gone to this because all I wanted to do was go and get high. That's all. I was just like, I need more. I want to go and party with them. Where's my jacket? Shall I shake her? I kind of know where I live, but I've got no jacket, no money, no nothing. Then I bump into this dancer that I'd done the Raw Variety performance with, and she was amazing. And she was helping me, and I think she helped us get back. So got back to the place, shagged her, wasn't great, it was all right. 6 a.m, Tasha walks back, her jaw is going bam, like crazy. And she said, the best night ever. And I was like, no way. But she's empty-handed. Where's the jackets, Tash? Where's my passport, all the photos of the night? Don't know, I thought you had it. No. Oh, no. And what happens is, when things like that are going on in town, there's a lot of thieves. They go and they take the jackets from these nightclubs of these VIP areas. So gone. No jacket, fucking freezing. No passport, no memorabilia, I was just like, no way. And then she's telling me about how she's had this most incredible night, loads of gear. Keith had like, what? What we're gonna do? Right, honestly, to the German girl, just go. Just leave. You've ruined the night, But again, the addiction to women and to getting laid, fucking terrible. So the next day we just walked round, go to the police station, thinking for the insurance and the passport and all that, and it was a bit of a mare. But then I see Dolce & Gabbana. I think it was Dolce & Gabbana, or was it? Yeah. And I say, you know what I'm going to do? To make myself happy, I'm going to buy a fucking expensive jacket. Tash, you got any money? Because I had no cards, I had nothing. And so I did, and I bought a really nice jacket, and I've still got it to this day. And it's humble. Oh, it's so thick and warm. And that was my, best thinking, is that how can I make myself happy from this fucking disappointment? So it went from the best night of my life to like the worst. Did we represent Hollyoaks? Not really. I don't know, but whatever.
You represented Paul, didn't you?
Yeah. I got what I wanted. You know what I mean? I had a really good night, but it turned, and Madonna and George Michael. What a lovely guy! Like so nice. So one more time after that, just this Lauryn Hill thing. But yeah, miss George. Like, think what a guy.
What a talent.
Yeah.
One of my favourite musicians.
Yeah, and a real I want to see a good documentary on him and his life.
Yeah, putting the spotlight on his good, generous side.
Lovely,
but
man.
The media, they want the car crash, don't they?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He had a really severe cocaine problem.
Did you discuss any of that with him?
No.
Did you share a line?
No. Him and Kenny just loved soul. That was enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah, rest in peace, George Michael.
Innit?
Mm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was a sad day. Christmas Day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What was the transition between acting and then going into the reality TV side of things?
Well, I get back from America, skinny, brown, no money. Well, not that no money, but I had a lovely place that I owned, which was good. And I owned that because I did this Kate Moss advert as well, which really did me well. So I did the Rimmel advert with her, where I played this graffiti artist, and I had to draw a tag on her face with the lipstick, and it did really well. It sold to like 22 countries, and because it's her, you know, it bought me my place. So it was really lucky, and the Hollyoaks money together. But it was brilliant doing that. So I'd worked with Andy Morahan, who directed Careless Whisper and Club Tropicana, and he also directed November Rain, that video, which is the Guns N' Roses video with the
Great video.
Amazing. And then now I'm working with him. So I was really honoured to work with him, and yeah, we're friends now, and we're still working. We're doing something at the moment together. So it was really special, and Kate was special. She was so amazing, and yeah, you know, we got up to no good together, which was brilliant.
In what sense?
Just we were on set for like days, you know, 3 days, and you're just fucking about, just eating hash, and did a little, you know, a few lines here and there, and she was great. She was just down to earth, one of your own. You know what I mean? And that was really cool. She knew Richard E. Grant as well, so we had this. So it was nice. It was
funny how it all links in.
Yeah, it was lovely, and it's just lovely. And you know, they're the nice people in this industry, like people that you wouldn't maybe think that they would be so lovely, but they are. And I think the people that have longevity in this career are the good ones. If you're a dick or you're up your own arse or whatever, you soon get frizzled out. People don't put up with it, you know. But if you're a good guy, and yeah, like there's been things like later on, like with me, where people will know that, oh, okay, it can be a bit sometimes late or whatever, or a bit ADHD, let's call it. But they know when I work hard. But you have to wait for that person that really sees something in you, gives you that opportunity. And that's kind of, you know, it's been hard because, as you say, I get back, I go to a meeting and they say, hi, we're welcome, we're Celebrity Love Island. And you just have to go to Fiji for 6 weeks and that's it. What do you mean that's it? And who am I playing? No, Paul, you're you. What do you mean? 6? How? Because I didn't understand it. And they're like, okay, so you just go there, and if you like someone, great. And there's other celebrities, and they're good looking, and the girls are good looking, and we'll just film you, but you won't see us. Okay, how are you going to film us? Well, they're all hidden. So, you know, it was mad. It was a really like, it took 2.5 days to get there. It's the furthest place you can go to from England, Fiji. And it was bonkers.
Did you love it?
Yeah, I loved it. But I didn't have my drugs. So I was like, oh my God. So I got there, bought a big black sack of weed, like really big, like bin liner, full of just bush Fijian twiggy weed. And like for 2 days, you're just holed up in a hotel before you go on. So it's just like, oh, okay, do I take any? No. And I didn't. And I thought, what's the point? I don't want to get chucked off. I want to do this job. And I didn't really worry, but the first few nights I started to notice I wasn't feeling well. And that is because I didn't know about addiction. I didn't know about ADHD. I certainly didn't know about withdrawals. And suddenly I'm like crawling to the, you know, like the diary room, which is like called the beach hut.
Right.
And I'm crawling in the middle of the night, like literally crying, like, help me, I don't know what's wrong, shaking, shivering, sweating. And they're like, oh dear. Like, and they just knew. They just thought, fuck, we've got someone withdrawing on camera.
And what was you withdrawing from?
Just everything from the last few years of constantly doing it. Because I know there's a massive come down or withdrawals from, say, opiates. Mentally, there is from cocaine, but not physically. Physically, there is from Valium and things like that. But I think it was just a combination of suddenly nothing in your system. And it was like, it was weird. But it only lasted one night. And you know why? You know what they gave me? They were brilliant. Australian medics. There you go, mate. 5 milligrams of Valium. Yeah. And I went to sleep and I woke up the next day and I was brand new. And that was it. That was it for withdrawals. Like I didn't have nothing else. So it wasn't like what I know now.
But that was your first taste of it.
And it was scary, and it was intense, and it was sweaty, and it was fucking scary, and it was shaky, and it was like, whoa, what is this? You know. So anyway, do the show. You know, the show is mad. Like, I fall in love with everyone.
And that was a genuine romance.
But yeah, I loved her for that, and I loved her for, you know, and I would just, you know, but I really got on with Lady Isabella Harvey. We really clicked. And then they bring in a Playboy model called Nikki Ziering. She was married to the 90210 guy called Ian Ziering. And Ian Ziering was this Jewish guy, and she converted, but she was on this island. She weren't with him anymore. So I thought, this is great. She is hot as anything. She's converted. She'll do. That's my wife. Brilliant. I found my wife, Mum. Right. So I'm like going, you know, really into her. And Isabella's like, oh, man, you know, because I don't know. It's like I did care, but I wasn't with anyone, so I could flirt. You know, one night I was like just hanging out with Abby Titmus, just getting on well with her, having a little snog. But that was just in the beginning, but then the Isabella, and then they brought her in, and me and her started to, and she took me into the toilets, and I'd been there about 2-3 weeks, and we took off our mics, and little did I know they put like a time clock at the when people were viewing the episode above the screen on the screen to see how long I'd last. And she gave me a blowjob, and then we come out and she put the mics back on and everything, and she's like in the mirror purposely like that, and really fucking, you know, she's playing up to the cameras. And I get home and everyone's chanting 2 minutes 58, 2 minutes 58. Little did I, I'm like, what are they going on about? They had a clock up there of how long. And a minute of that was getting the mic off and the clock. So, you know, who does that gets a blowjob on TV? But no one really saw that, you know. But yeah, then me and Isabella got together properly when the show finished. And I've never known fame like it. Like, I've never seen people go so mental. Like 4 years in a soap opera, that was nothing compared to these 6 weeks of what the stature of fame, you know. And my mum was like, they're just saying the word Paul and they know, and it's you. Like, that's how, they didn't even have to say your surname.
So Love Island was the one that skyrocketed you into fame?
Like, ridiculously. ITV1, prime time, every night. And if you're making a splash on it, because I got dragged off, I had a big fight with Fran, because I was paranoid by that point, because I'm drinking all the booze, and booze is terrible for me. But that's all there was. I needed something, because I couldn't handle this. So I'm drinking, I've got the girls, and I've got alcohol, that'll do, you know, to soothe me. But it didn't. It ended up, like, making me all, like, you know, happy for a bit, and then you get, like, kind of like, who wants to fucking go drunk? And I choose the biggest guy, who's a doorman and all of that, Fran Cosgrove, a good friend of mine now. And you know, and then I'm like trying to offer him out, like, big fucking Irish guy, you know, come on in, you know, and he was just laughing, like, I'll kill you. And I'm like, come on. And that was the only time we saw anyone come on the island. The guards, like the big Australian bodyguards, like they were dragging me off by my hands and feet, and I'm screaming. And there was a vote, they took me off to another island, and they said, Paul, we don't know if you're going to be able to go back on. And they did a vote, like, who wants him back? And there was like 5-4. So I just got in with the majority, came back and promised I wouldn't drink, and I came third. Did really well, but everyone loved it, because that being chucked off episode because they're in competition with Big Brother's ratings. And if it weren't for that, man, they just said, well, if it weren't for me, they just said the show would have, you know, completely flopped.
So when they put you in the sin bin, did they notice that the stats had taken a dip?
What, when they took me out?
Yeah.
No, because of that episode, they went up. But if I weren't going to come back, they were worried it was going to dip.
Right.
So, yeah, basically, they were thinking, shit, this is drama and this is real. It's not contrived. There's no director like there is nowadays. all the Love Islands you watch, it's all contrived. It's all like, right, you get with her, then you say this to her. Right, we never had no one. They just left us.
So when you was
so
on,
different.
when you was on Love Island, it was completely organic, and who you fell for and slept
we
with.
didn't have to be with anyone. We didn't have to sleep with anyone. We didn't have to do nothing.
And how many people did you sleep with?
They just left us. Only her, only Nikki, and then.
But you got with someone else.
And then with Isabella, who we ended up going out together properly, because she was who I really gelled with originally.
How did she take you getting a blowjob?
She knew. I mean, you bring a Playboy model on to any island,
But she forgave you.
well, I wasn't really with her at the time, so but we liked each other, and yeah, she did forgive me. Yeah.
It's definitely enough to put someone's nose out of joint, though.
Yeah, it did. It definitely did. Yeah, it did. I know. But I don't know. I managed to.
Let's get it on. I'm going to have a quick blowjob. I'll be back.
I'll be back. Well, because she was taking ages even to kiss me, but she was like, I don't want to kiss you on screen. I didn't think we were on TV. I just forgot all about that because I didn't want to think about that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been myself. But everyone was really on their guard. Like, if they were going to do something, it would be when the show was finished. And Isabella was the same. So the minute the show was finished, I thought she was some real frigid girl, didn't want to do nothing. Man, it was amazing. The minute it finished, she'd been waiting to, and I was like, oh, right, okay. But why did you care so much? You know what I mean? But anyway, when I get off, I would never forget it. This woman, producer, like literally dragging me, going like I was Michael Jackson. So finally, my Michael Jackson moment had happened, and I couldn't handle it.
And is this as soon as you flow back?
It was in Fiji. Like the minute I got voted out, you get taken to D-Rig. You get like medical looked at, food, and then, but I didn't. It's like, we are grabbing you and we're putting you in hiding. Why? Because your agent has done the best deal with the newspaper, The Star, and if you get photographed by anyone else, you'll lose the deal. So they're like throwing blankets over you and you can't see, and they're treating you like your bubbles. Like it literally is like, fuck off. Like, and quick hit, and then you've got to do this and you've got to do that. And they put me on the front of The Star with me and Nikki, her in front of me with my arms round her waist, her in a bikini, me in just swimming shorts, big boner just behind her, like that. And her holding this pineapple because she said if you eat pineapple, your cum tastes better. So there she is on the front with me, and I'm like, 50 grand. It was just mad. And then they put me in the front cover the next day. And my mum said, they put you in she went, you should tell Sylv that, So yeah, another 25 grand. Like, it was mental. And this is, I hadn't even fucking left my hotel room and I'd already earned that. The winner wasn't even getting that. So I knew things were big. And it was just the way I was treated and everything. It was like, it was too much. And I couldn't handle it. And I never got in this game to be famous. I hate the word celebrity. I do. I'm not a celebrity and I don't want to be famous. I just want to be respected as an actor. I just want to do my acting and people to go, wow, that was a really believable performance.
Did Love Island hinder that?
Very much. Because I'd done a big performance on Love Island. So I did my own performance as Paul because I couldn't be Paul. Because I didn't know who Paul was. Paul was the guy crawling to the fucking diary hut.
And because they plied you with booze, you was drunk, Paul.
I was just I was withdrawing, come down, drunk, crazy Paul. Yeah, just hadn't figured myself out,
And how old was you?
25.
And did they invite you back again, Love Island?
Yeah, so then they gave me, so then I got the show Callum Fran and Dangerous Danan, but I also got a show called Test Drive My Girlfriend. And, there were fun times. They were really good. I, unfortunately, though, after Love Island, experienced my first treatment centre because all of that fame, and that's why I'm like saying about it, if I would have, when I was in Hollyoaks, maybe learnt some tools around women, money, fame, you know, I don't want to say the word celebrity, but whatever it is, adoration, you know, how do you deal with it? What do you do to you know, when it can really overwhelm you? And what if you start to believe it?
Did you become a bit of a diva?
I don't know. No. Maybe a bit, but I think that was maybe Coke probably had more to do with that, like, you know, because it can make you a bit like selfish. Well, it is a selfish disease. So basically, I withdrew, and I just got hired all the time behind closed doors. But,
and also, you've just been given a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah. So it got too much, and I said to my mum, I saw Robbie Williams had gone to Clouds, and I said, I think I've got like. And I just told them, I don't know how I told them what I did. And I'll never forget my dad driving me to rehab. And I went to that rehab where Robbie went.
Clouds.
Yeah. And Kate was at the time, Kate Moss was in Meadows in Arizona. And I thought, well, if they can do it, fuck it, I'm going to do it and try and stop this shit. And I really, really enjoyed rehab. Like, as in, I enjoyed, I suppose, being with my tribe, my like-minded people. But I also... I don't know. I enjoy being clean.
And how long was you in rehab for?
6 weeks.
Completely clean?
Yeah.
New man?
But about 3 days before, or a week before my graduation, there was a message from my agent saying one of the guys in your group at the rehab has sold you out to the news of the world. And do you have a statement? Do you want to say anything? And I was like, what? And they didn't say who, because obviously this person wouldn't say, and they ended up with a lot of money because they told the paper all my personal stuff that I'd said in group. So my trust went fucking really down. And I remember the Monday morning, the Sunday the paper came out, and it was double page spread. Paul Danan, Hollyoaks, cocaine addict, in rehab, blah, blah, blah. And they wanted to write worse than that. But because I gave them a statement, they retracted it.
Did you think this is my career over?
Yeah, the news of the world come out on that Sunday, and I was devastated. And I thought, fucking hell, man, I was just getting it. I was just enjoying this sobriety thing and this kind of fellowship stuff. And yet they fucked it. And there were people on DRRs and all of that. Like, it was some nutty people there. It was scary.
What's DRR?
Where you, instead of going to prison, they send you to treatment. The judge doesn't do it anymore. Right. But they used to send people, like, say, that were dealing or whatever, instead of sending them to prison, if they had a habit, they would say, right, we're going to give you rehab, which is really, you know, it's their last chance. But they don't want to be in rehab.
They just don't want to go to jail.
No, they just don't want to go to jail. So anyway, yeah, on the Monday morning, we're in group, and I pick up a chair and I go, who the fuck was it? Was it fucking you? Was it you? I want to know. Because I would have used it. Someone would have gone, yeah, it was me, I sold you out. I would have gone crazy. So then the therapist was like, Paul, put the chair down, get out. That's it. You're out. And they chucked me out for threatening behaviour. And I never found out who it was, and I just thought, you bastards, and I ended up, and it was really dangerous because of the breaking my anonymity and selling me out. I got in a cab all the way from Wiltshire to Brixton, scored, went all the way from Brixton to Chigwell, got a hotel, and stayed in that hotel for 2 nights, you know, and I could have died, just relapsing. All because of that trust being broken, you know. And it took me a lot of rehabs after that to finally start to open up and trust people again.
So you'd go back to rehab but wouldn't open up because of the previous experience?
Yeah, I just went for my parents or whoever was sending me there for a break. Because I've done a lot, as you know, a lot of treatment.
But Love Island still said come back.
Oh, yeah. And I said, well, double the money. And they said, yeah.
So what would they pay you for a series of that?
I didn't get a lot for the first one. I think I was the lowest. It was like 27 or something, 28. And the second one, they doubled it.
So the second season of Love Island, you got paid about 60 grand. And what happened in season 2? Blowjobs?
The show never really lasted. No. Nothing. They kind of picked on me a little bit in the beginning. They weren't very nice because Isabella's sister was in it. Sophie Anderton, but I met some good people. Pierce Brosnan's son is a good guy. Another addict, got them very friendly with him.
So second series of Love Island, they put your ex-girlfriend's sister in there.
Yeah, and she was all right with me. It was Sophie mixing things, Sophie Anderton. I was drinking a little bit, but I had so they gave me this thing. The therapist gave me, because they have a therapist that you can speak to and stuff, and she gave me these, what were they, plastic coins, and she gave me 3, and she said, when you have a drink, you throw one of them in the water or whatever, and then you know you've had one. Then when you have 2, and you've only got 3, so make it last, something like that. Oh, I've only got 1 coin left, like that, because that's what it was like. But by that point, I'd had an accident on a motorbike and I was on codeine, and so I was drinking then, having a bit of codeine, and I was just like, hey guys, and it was kind of like, so I was chilled, I was kind of like, yeah. And then Chris is like, just straight out of rehab, like saying to me, like, can you leave me a couple of pints on the toilet seat because I can't drink on camera. And I was like, mate, he said, please, dude. I said, yeah, all right. So every night I'd do that. Then they brought Steve-O on from Jackass, and he was and he had swallowed a whole big pellet of stuff, and he shat it out. And then the next minute, me and him, like, he's like got this apple, and he's pierced the hole in the side of apple, cut the top off, put this skunk in the top, and like we're walking around smoking his apples. And like they're like, Paul and Steve-O, come to the diary room now. We're like, yeah. It was, insane. And they got rid of him. They chucked him out. Thank God they let me off. But we had a laugh. They brought in so many different people. They were just trying to beat the ratings. They were trying to beat Big Brother. They were trying to, and in the end, just didn't last, did it? They never went back on the air again. But little did I know that it would ruin my acting career.
Yeah, so after the whole Love Island escapade, like, which route did your life take after that? Because you was on Big Brother as well.
Yeah, but not till 17. So it took a really bad route. It took a very, very dark route. And that's when things just got from bad to worse. Just drugs. I had an overdose. I was doing pantos, then got banned from panto because I swore some Christmas lights.
What did you overdose on?
I came out of a rehab in South Africa. When I got back, the psychiatrist had put me on all these antipsychotics and told me that I had bipolar and all this shit, which wasn't true. They blew me up on these pills, and I was there for months, and I didn't want to be there. And I got back home, and my parents were so proud of me because I was like safe and sober, but I was fat and I was horrible, and I just didn't feel like myself. And they gave me my keys and my car and my credit card, and I said I'm going to see my agent, and I detoured and stopped and got some gear, some coke, and I said, have you got anything for like? And she went, yeah, try this, and it was like a bag of like brown, and I'd never done it before, so I snorted it, and I shouldn't have snorted it because that's dangerous, really dangerous, and I ended up having an overdose really bad. And yeah, luckily the ambulance were down the road, but my mum found me, like, couldn't breathe. It was terrible.
Yes, describe what a heroin overdose actually is in reality.
You don't know about it. Apparently my mum just heard me gagging on my last breath, just making noises. And she just said to my dad, like, there's something wrong with Paul. That doesn't sound like snoring. And she came into the room and she couldn't wake me up. And my little brother was next door. It's just the saddest thing about it because he's really been still to this day, apparently. He was very traumatised by it. And she couldn't wake me up. She just said to my dad, I can't wake him up. I don't know what's wrong with him. So she called the ambulance, and luckily they were parked down the end of the road. So they came and they said, what has he taken? And she said, nothing. He's been to treatment. He's like, he doesn't do drugs. And they just knew. They thought, we've got to give him the reversal here, which is basically the antidote. And fuck me, it was Pulp Fiction. You know,
That's how I'm imagining it.
It was. And they give you it and you go, and all I could see was my dad's face at the end of the ambulance. My mum said to me, she'd already said goodbye to me. My brother watched me stretched off with just my boxer shorts on this slab, on this stretcher, just gone. And my mum said goodbye. I thought that was it. But the first thing I saw my dad's face at the end, and I just could see this look of like I'd never seen before, of absolute disgust and hate, but relief.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's alive. You know, because they basically said, we don't think he's gone. Like basically, like I died, kind of thing. But not complete. You know, like that was their like, what can we? You know, last choice, last option. And because I woke up and went, and I just went, and I saw his, I just went, I haven't done anything. Denial. Just the first thing I could say was, I haven't done anything, because I was so scared of like, fuck, I've let them down, and what have I done? And then I remember going into, and this is what I do remember, being in intensive care and the nurse or whoever it was just screaming at me, wake up, because I just kept going off to sleep. And I knew that if I allowed myself to do that, I wouldn't be here today. I was going to die. So there was something in me, it's quite amazing, that said, stay awake, please stay awake, stay awake. And I had that feeling of real fucking dread, and I was so scared. And I made it through the night, and I remember trying to go for a cigarette, and I think maybe someone saw me, or maybe it was the ambulance man that was just pissed off that I didn't say thanks for saving my life. But one of them sold the store, thrown the papers again.
Did they know? Did the press get wind that it was heroin?
Well, exactly. So the next day in the papers, Paul Danan ODs on heroin. So it must have been a member of staff. It could only have been. And it was horrible. It was like, that's the end of your career. Do you know what I mean? But then everyone that knew me thought, he doesn't do that. He don't do heroin. And they all knew. And I remember bumping into Will. I saw him in Hampstead. He went, you don't do that shit. I said, I know, man. I said, but I just tried it. I didn't know what I was doing. So I did an interview for OK Magazine, explaining all of that. And I just snorted it. I thought it was just some powder. I didn't really know what it was. I did, but I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what it would do. And obviously, because I'd never done it, that's what happens. Do not snort heroin. I'm lucky to be alive. Something saved me. And but I don't know the trauma it done to my mum and dad and my brother. And I go back to that house all the time. And for them, it reminds them a lot. So it's really hard to be in that house with them and their fears. So it's hard, the life I have nowadays with my parents and because they're all so scared of what's going to happen. If I'm upstairs for longer than 2 minutes, they're worried. Still. And I can't, there's not much I can do about that apart from just keep showing up, keep doing what I can to prove that that's not going to happen again.
Did you ever do heroin again?
A long time after.
Did you do it properly this time?
I just smoked it. Yeah, and I realised, oh, fuck, yeah, you don't fucking do all of that.
Most people I know that have dabbled with heroin, they end up doing heroin properly.
Right. No, it was never really, I like uppers. It wasn't my drug, it wasn't my thing, and it never has been. I just had a problem with the tablets, the codeine, because of my shoulder, because I had all this surgery, and that Callum Fran and Dangerous Danan show was meant to be on Harley Davidson's, and we were taking our bike tests. They had passed theirs. I was doing mine in Southend or something, and or just before in Chelmsford. And the day had come, or the day before, we did a dummy run on the A127 to Southend, and it was windy, and I'm on this bike, and it's shaking. I'm thinking, fuck, if I'm going to go to America for 2 weeks and be shaking like this is not comfortable. So I thought, what am I going to do? And that night, my best thinking was, let's just get high and we'll deal with it tomorrow. And then the day came, the test came. I hadn't really slept. Got on the because it's over 500 cc, so you pass your 125. Now you're trying to do it for the bigger bikes,
right?
And we were about to go round a few roads to get onto the A127. You got everyone with their bibs on, and the instructor that's taking you to do your test. And a car was coming, and I'm on the bike, and I'm thinking, oh, fuck this. I don't want to do this. And I just let go. And I fell, and I really fucked my shoulder up. But I just didn't want to do it. Now, why I couldn't say to them, look, I just don't want to do it on a bike. Instead of doing that, it was bizarre.
Because you're a confident person as well.
Yeah, but I was scared. I was scared again of dying on a motorbike. I don't know. So I like kind of like just threw myself off it. It was really weird. And they were like, whoa, Paul. I said, just go. You go without me. don't mind, leave me here. And they did. They went, you sure? Yeah, go.
He's a fucking trooper, that Paul.
Yeah. And don't, you know, I didn't want them to miss their test because of me. These are just Joe Blogs guys. They ain't doing it for the show. It's just people I've done the training with. Don't stay with me. Don't not have your license. Anyway, the ambulance came, went to the hospital. My dad met me, and they popped me. They said, yeah, take these, you'll be all right. And they gave me these 2 codeine tablets. Oh, my God. I was like, oh, that's better. And that was like the beginning of, that's nice. And yeah, had an operation. We turned out we did it in a 1962 convertible Cadillac. All 3 of us, cameras set up. And they were pissed off because we didn't do it on Harleys. But I was like, this is cool, boys. And it kept breaking down through the desert. But that's what made the show. It was quite funny. And there's me in a strap for my arm. And we were meant to, the stories, what we were meant to do was like The Simple Life with Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton, where they went, and that show is like they had to earn money by working for someone to earn money to move to the next town. And that's what we had to do. We had no phones, no money, no nothing. We just got set up jobs. We had to do the job, earn the money, buy a bit of food with it, petrol, and then go to the next place. And there was always a place to stay. We tasered balls in Texas, Amarillo. We're like, you know, you're tasering these big fucking balls to go and fight or whatever. It was mental. We were like working in a bowling alley. We were working in mechanics. I know. And I thought I played this character that don't want to do any of it. Because I'm on Vicodin.
I'll do what I want.
Yeah. And I just, and the guys hated me. But the more they hated me, the more I just played up to it and became like the guy that just couldn't because of his arm, you know. And when it come out, when you watch it, it's quite funny. And me and Karen have a fight. We get really pissed, but we're good friends now. Like, it's cool. It's just drunken. But there's me with my shoulder, you know, trying to fight him. And it was good footage. You know, it's won a lot of things, like the best moment in reality. You know, that year I win an award, you know, since the Oratory Award. So funniest reality TV personality of the year was for Loaded magazine. And they called it the Lafters, not the BAFTAs. And I win this award and I'm like, yay, you know, but to be honest, it wasn't what I wanted, was it?
No.
To be some joker on a fucking reality show. No.
You wanted the BAFTA.
Thank you. Not the laughter. Then I got a job, that panto, and they said, come and open the Christmas lights or whatever. And I went on stage and I'd had a few drinks and, you know, and I hadn't been on stage or been in front of a crowd for a good few years. And no one, again, gave me any advice or said, oh, Paul, you know. And I just got on the stage like, oh, fucking, let's have it. You know, and they just said, oh, do you want to take that side of the crowd and we'll take this side? These radio presenters and we'll turn on the lights, but you got to get them to scream the loudest. I'm like, yeah, and I've been watching Up and Smoke, which is like Dre and Snoop and Eminem, and I was just like, yeah, I'm on Up and Smoke. You know? This is my, like, Wembley, you know, it's Preston. And I'm like, make some motherfucking noise. And everyone's like, yeah. Oh, shit, did he just say motherfucking? And they were like...
Was there families everywhere?
Yeah, they took the white, it was dark. You know, and I was just like, they went mad. They took the mic off me, I grabbed it back. What are you doing? They were like, Paul, you can't swear like that. So, all right, thanks, Paul Danan. You know, and I was mad. I was mad. And I was just like, oh, all right. And I just thought, oh, fuck you. Yeah, and I got off the stage and the police just were there. Just slapped me an £80 fucking fine for speaking, for swearing. And then the producer went, why did you say that? There's the ITN News, go and apologise. Oh, right, okay, shit, sorry. And I was like, yeah, I'm really sorry if there were any kids or whatever, you know. And I'm like, literally, my eyes are like black, like literally. And I just look fucked, man. I look terrible. It's the worst. If you see it on YouTube, it's so bad. And she was horrible.
Oh,
and they were just out to get me, I swear. And basically... the next day, my agent phones and said, Paul, man, Paul, what have you done? You know, you haven't worked all year, 17 grand. We needed this money. You needed this money. I said, well, what's the problem? They said that they've replaced you. You got to go home. I said, what do you mean? They fired me. Yeah, the mayor was in the audience and he went to the person next to him, who is that boy? And they went, oh, that's the guy that's playing Jack and the Beanstalk. He's playing Jack. And he went, no, he's not. and they fired me and they hired someone else, this guy. And I was on the front page of all the papers and then all the nationals started going crazy, like, what an idiot, why would he do that, and all that. And then my best thinking is just to use so hard. I've never relapsed so bad because it was like, my life is over, man. This is it. Like, what the fuck? But that's ADHD. It's impulsive. It's excitement. It's like, I didn't mean to swear. People have done worse, you know?
I've got to tell you, for the record, and anybody watching this, that is... Since I've started this podcast journey, that is the funniest story I have heard to date. Mate, that is...
Oh, you didn't know about it?
No. That is funny.
Yeah, well...
That is funny.
No, I can laugh now, but...
Yeah. I mean, if I was your friend at the time and you just lost your career, I wouldn't find it funny.
Oh,
but
no, I mean, you know...
Retrospectively, mate, that's funny.
Maybe what I think is that it was... God blocked it. I think it was blocked for a reason that I wasn't meant, because something worse would have happened. Like, that's just a swear word. What if I'd have been off my tits doing or something? Who knows? I wasn't in a good place. I wasn't very well. I should not have been on that stage. But yeah, it was the train journey up there. I remember, you know, it's a long train journey and you got a few things on you.
You got a 6-pack and an 8th on you.
By the time you get to the Christmas lights, it's 8 o'clock.
It's going on.
You're steaming, you'll make some motherfucking noise. It's not make some noise, is it? It's by then, it's make some motherfucking noise.
Oh, man.
Right?
That is funny.
There is no in between.
Nah. That's
So-
why they call you Dangerous now.
Yeah. Dangerous Danan is in effect, and that's the thing. And that they asked me, with the title, they wanted to call it. Remember that character, Desperate Dan? They were going to call it that. I said, "Fuck off! Are you calling it that?" They said, "Well, you come up with something then." And I said, "What about Dangerous?" So that's why when we did that show, because we got to shoot like all different guns in in Arizona. And well, they took us high up in the mountains, and they started us on like the PPKs and moving up to the machine guns, the AKs, and then the Mondoose. And the Mondoose is that, literally one rocket and like million rounds, like the bullets are like that. And man, when they gave me that gun, and that was it, and I just thought, oh yeah, that's why this show could be cool. So the more anything dangerous I could do, I just, and it just pissed, it is me rebelling a little bit, like, fuck you, I don't give a shit. And we ended up in America, so you end up like from Route 66 it was, so, Texas all the way to California. And when we got there, and I shouldn't have stayed because obviously I'd lived there before, I go and try and see Ashley. She's with God knows who. That's upset me. Then I go and see him. Then I have a few auditions, but fuck them. And it was like I tried to, because I'd had that visa that they gave us because we did Route 66 and it was for a year. So it meant that if I got a job, they wouldn't have a problem with giving me work permit. But I didn't because I needed more help. So more rehabs. And it just ended up like really, really being a lot of treatment centres, a lot of places around the world. 1 minute I'd be all right, then I wouldn't be all right. And then in 2015, I met someone. My brother said, "You're lonely. You need to go on this thing called Tinder." I said, "No, fuck that. I ain't doing that shit." And he said, "Look, you don't know, it's Facebook friends, and just you might meet someone." And there was this girl, she was 0.3 miles away. She didn't believe it was really me and all this. I turn up late and stoned. She's there with a bottle of wine, and we just get on. And within 3 months, she moves in. And within 6 months, we're going to split up because I realised, don't think it's for me. And then she says, "Well, let's go to your parents and, we'll have Christmas Day and then I'll probably move out." And on Boxing Day, she says, "I'm pregnant." And and it was like the greatest thing ever, but also like, damn, because I'm not feeling us. But I said, my dad said, "No, you do the right thing." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. We've got the best thing that's ever happened to me from it, my little boy."
Have you two got a good friendship?
Now we have, yeah. But it was hard. It's been a journey. It's been really difficult. And her seeing me not well.
Yeah.
Going in and out of rehabs and stuff over that time because, even a baby or whatever, even my child can't fix me, only I can fix me or help myself,
So when you went into the Big Brother house, you was a dad as well?
Yes, yeah.
And how old was your son
fine.
when you went into the Big Brother house?
He was 2.
Okay.
But I did it. I did Big Brother because I wanted to do it and I wanted to go in there and I wanted to show a different side of me or didn't want to show the Love Island side. I wanted to so I went in there sober. And the thing is, it was a piece of piss. Most people wanted to leave, but I'd done so many treatment centres. Big Brother was nothing. I could stay in a place for 3, 4, 5 weeks because I'd done that before in a much harsher environment. This was just,
Light work.
Yeah, it was cameras and it was fun and it was tasks and enjoyment. But there were people there that wanted to wind me up. There were people there that wanted camera time and knew that the cameras were going to be on me a lot. For some reason, they just gravitated towards me to either wind me up, to fight me or to, not to really fuck me because there wasn't anyone in there that wanted me like that. It wasn't like that, but it was fun. It was good, and I really enjoyed it. But it was like watching everyone drink, and I was sober, and I was like, I could see it from the outside point of view of what people get like, and there's the people that can drink and aren't alcoholics or addicts, and then there's the ones that are, and they don't know they are, but you can see it a mile off.
That's interesting.
And it is just like, my God,
Yeah.
they probably don't even realise what they're doing, but they're hiding drinks. They're fucking doing anything they can. And you can see how many more they're having and how they're asking Big Brother, can we have some, you know? Whereas there'll be few people that'll just have one or two and they're all right, you know?
Who was in the house with you that year?
God rest her soul, Sarah Harding.
Yeah, she's passed, isn't she? Yeah, and she was having arguments with, there was a brunette in there that was really, really aggy.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Yeah, she was horrible. It was Gemma Lucy. She had tattoos all over.
Yes.
She started with me a lot. She brought up De Niro. She brought up my little boy. I just went mental.
Why did she do that?
To get camera time, to get a fight out of me.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. She just did.
So that's the name of the game in there. Try and call some...
Well, if you're a reality expert, see, I wasn't. She was. She was very used to it from her shows, the shows that she'd been in. She was reality. That's what she liked. X on the Beach, all that shit. You know, I hadn't done reality in a long time. I didn't really know. I just wanted to be me. Like, that's all I ever do. I just think, just be you. Just be fun. Just be nice. Be kind. But, yeah. So, yeah, that was going on. I wasn't drinking. When they were drunk, they were horrible. When they were not drinking, they were lovely. That's the alcoholic, isn't it? Jekyll and Hyde.
So did you find yourself just keep repeatedly forgiving people from the previous night?
Yeah, I suppose there was a lot of, like...
Do you know what I mean?
Makeups, breakups, yeah. And things like that. So we had, like, Sean Williamson, amazing, like Barry from EastEnders. So he was lovely. And, yeah, there were some cool people. Derek Okora, who's dead now as well. God rest his soul. He was the scary guy, the medium guy, whatever. There was, Sam, who won the Jungle from Made in Chelsea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's another ADHD, hyperactive guy, isn't he?
Yeah, we got on so well.
Very, very likeable.
Yeah, really lovely.
Yeah.
What's the name? Amelia Lilly. There was Brandy from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I like that show.
On the whole, you got on with everyone and you had a nice time.
Anyway, cut a story short, I did all right. I got like 5th or something. I came out, but that week I could do Loose Women. I could do all these shows. The ones that went all the way to the final couldn't. So I got to earn my money.
Would you do Big Brother again if you was asked?
Probably.
Love Island?
I'd present it.
That's a good shout.
Yeah.
That's a good shout. What about Jeremy?
I got the voice. I went for the voiceover and they went with that Scottish guy.
Oh, so you was in the running for that?
Yeah, it was only between me and him.
So that could happen down the line, something like that, couldn't it?
Yeah, but why do I never fucking get it? You know what I mean? It's like, this is what I mean. It's like always so close.
You just got to keep throwing the net out.
I do.
Keep throwing the net out. And Jeremy Kyle.
It was horrible.
What possessed you to go on there?
I owed the dealer some money.
Yeah, really? Tell me about Jeremy Kyle.
Why? He's a dick.
Tell me about the Jeremy Kyle show, the experience.
He's just a dick.
Because I know that you went on the show, but I don't know why, what happened.
Yeah,
the story.
literally, I was not in the best place. I think they asked, but he went in. He was able to get the archives, right, which is from ITV. So he really went in and just showed me fucked, pissed on Love Island. Just showed me fighting. Just chose the worst bits. Never said hello before we went on air.
No way.
Yeah, didn't say, oh, right, so it's going to be all right. Nothing. I met him on the stage. And do you know what? When I told him about the overdose and stuff, he asked me, so why would you then go and do drugs again? Like, really, like, you piece of shit type thing. I was just like, because I'm an addict. And he just shut up. He just couldn't. And he knows exactly what that's like because he's a fucking gambling addict. Same thing, different hat. So what you on about, Jeremy? Like, you fucking hypocrite. And don't you? And when he showed those archives and that stuff of me being really not good and really unwell, I thought that was exploitation, and I wasn't expecting it. And I wanted to cry, and I nearly got up and walked off. I was that close, and there was something. And you know what? It's addiction that kept me, because I thought if I walk off, I probably won't be able to pay that fucking guy. You know what I mean? It grabs you that much. It's like, I've got this, I've got to pay him, I've got to pay. And a lot of the shows I did, like fucking, what's it called? Come Dine With Me, Celebrity Come Dine With Me. I did it for them. I needed the money.
When you was doing Jeremy Kyle, was there a live audience or was it a recording studio?
Live audience.
How did they react when you...
They were really lovely.
On your side?
Really on my side.
Good.
Really, really.
So that backfired on him, didn't it?
Totally. And people were like, poor you, man. They liked me even more. They saw how upset I was.
Good.
And it's up to me, isn't it? And that's another thing that I am drawn in for a pound note, because if I can't pay my bills and look after my boy and do...
And TV's all you know.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? But all it's doing is keeping me further away from the real stuff, the acting, because these casting directors are very... they're old school, man. They don't want reality.
But you've now slipped back into the whole acting scene, haven't you?
Amazingly. Thank God.
Talk to me about morning and after drama.
I started working for the Amy Winehouse Foundation because I don't know, there was something that I was drawn to with Amy again, could relate. Never met her. But Mitch knew my parents and they grew up in the same area. Like he knew my mum and this, that and the other. And I don't know, it wasn't even that, but it was just, I just wanted to phone them up. So I phoned them. I was in recovery. I said, I want to help. Is there anything I can do? And they said, yeah, we're doing this thing in schools where you can come in and you can tell them your story to the classroom and deter them from going down the wrong road. We never say, oh, I'm here to tell you not to do drugs. I'm here to warn you of how they can be if you're prone to escapism, let's say, or addiction. And there was kids that, knew people self-harm, and it goes on in schools a lot, and it's a really good program called the Resilience Program. So I would be with other volunteers, we'd all meet up at Marylebone Station and we'd go off to this school, and literally they would throw you in a classroom on your own and you'd be there with the kids and like, hi, and then, and I didn't talk about, say, Hollyoaks or anything, but a few of them cottoned on here and there, and that's all they wanted to talk about. Like, no, just here, so I kind of do a podcast with them, but mini one. I tell them a bit about my journey, and I'd say, like, it doesn't discriminate, this disease. Yeah, and I call it disease because I'm at dis-ease with myself, and I want to feel at ease. And the only ease and comfort that I feel is when I put something in me that is kind of, mind altering, I suppose, in the way of like where, no wonder why I wanted to be an actor, because it means I don't have to be me. Maybe so what's wrong with me? Why am I so, why can't I just sit with myself? And that's the biggest thing, the feedback from all the therapists is he just can't sit with himself. I always got to have this on, stereo, the telly, this, I have to be distracted. I can't sit with that, because it's that washing machine head that really becomes, like regret, like we say, like the past is depression, the future is anxiety, but the now is the now, it was all right. The present's all right. So be in the present, and that's where mindfulness comes in, and it's so important how much mindfulness helps with addiction, with ADHD, with all that, because when you're in the moment, you can just be in the moment and not worry about the bills or the girlfriend or the car or whatever it may be, and just at this moment everything's all right, isn't it? Right? But it's hard when you're a thinker, stinking thinking, and it's just like, bloody hell, the regret of that. Andrew with the girl I lost her virginity to, the resentments come up, there's regret, there's pain, and I never wanted to regret anything. How can I turn this addiction on its head and actually turn it into a positive? There's got to be a way. And when you're sober, there is a way. And you realise it's about giving back and helping others. And I said to Jane Winehouse, I don't think we should just go in and talk to them. I want to get them up and get them acting scenarios that they'll find themselves in real life. So they're in the park, someone passes them a joint. What do? Let's act it out, right? Oh, that's a good idea. Someone passes them a drink. Do they stay? Do they leave? Do they say something? Do they not? Well, like, let's act it out. So when it happens in real life, they go, I know this. I did this with Paul. I know what to do. So they developed with me this whole drama program and they put me in charge of it. And it was amazing. And we took it and piloted it. And funnily enough, we piloted it in Liverpool and stuff like that. I started to get hired again for pantos. Someone took a punt on me and that was really cool. Turned out he was a bit of a party guy. You know what I mean? Like, I always meet him, don't I? And, but it was cool. It was, yeah. And I was doing this stuff at the Amy Winehouse. And then the summer came. I think I went to a festival. I think I took a little ecstasy tablet or something. And I went for a meeting with some of the Winehouse people, and they had just got 4.3 million from the lottery to fund the resilience program and the drama program. And I was like, I've developed that. I've fucking done that. And they were alongside Addaction, who are the people that kind of held the money and did it alongside them to help these people. And Addaction, one of the people said, he doesn't look great. Maybe you should test him. So Jane was like, Paul, are you all right? And I was like, yeah, fine. Like, listen, we've got to call you in to do a little swab test or whatever. I was like, oh, fucking hell. And I couldn't get out of it. So I went there shitting myself, and they did it. And they sent it off to a lab, and it must have cost them a fortune. But they did it the proper way, not where you just pee in a cup or whatever. It was really like there was no getting away from your own saliva. And it came back like God knows what was in this pill, crystal meth, this, that, and the other. So they thought I was on the, what are you talking about? And I just said, look, I did half an ecstasy tablet. I'm sorry, And they said, oh, and we thought it was something. I said, yeah, I don't do crystal, And they said, we're going to have to give you 3 months. You have to not work for 3 months. If you get that sober, come back and blah, blah. And it kind of I didn't really go back to them. But what it did do is it instilled in me something later on that I didn't realise would happen. So later on, I ended up in treatment in lockdown. After lockdown, I escaped from my parents, ended up on the fucking, oh man, it's mental. But I ended up on Bournemouth Beach, just like homeless, literally. Just like, what the fuck? It's locked, trying to get into hotels and no one will let you in because it's lockdown. And I stayed in the Holiday Inn for a while because I told them I was working on the front line for the Amy Winehouse Foundation, helping addicts. When really I was the one off my tits. And she was like, okay, right, can you send a letter with the headed paper just to say that, because they wouldn't let anyone else stay in hotels at the time. It was really like big, this. So I was like, of course, I'll get on to Jane and I'll get it through to you. And I never did, obviously. And they weren't allowed in your room. So the room just got left, and the more I stayed, and it was horrible, and I started to see things out the window, like thinking the police were in the trees. I started to get really bad psychosis.
Sniffing in there?
Yeah, bad. Anyway, basically, ended up somewhere, stayed there all summer through that lockdown, did 3 months, and then this yoga teacher said to me, she used to go for walks with us, what do you want to do, Paul, then? Come on, when are you going to leave? And I said, well, I'm not going to go back home, probably go to Bristol. My mate Ronnie Size is there. He's a drum and bass DJ, a really good friend. He's going to, I'm just going to go and live in a dry house. I think I need to carry this on and be with like-minded people and be in a house with addicts that are in recovery. Yeah, but what are you going to... She said, what were you used to like? I said, I used to knock on doors and never gave a shit. I've lost all my confidence. She said, it's still in you can do that. And I said, well, I wouldn't mind teaching drama, but to adults, because I had a little kids thing, but I directed a play with them and everything, and I realised I could direct, I could produce, I could write, and like all this stuff that I never really gave myself a chance to do. And and then coming up with that drama program for them. And I just said to her, I wouldn't mind teaching, but with addiction problems and neurodiversity and autism, ADHD, because acting, and actually there's some from Vanderbilt or something, Vanderbilt. He's a psychiatrist who wrote a book about how improvisation cures trauma. So acting and drama actually was proven that it really helps with trauma and with youngsters and this and that. And I just knew it, and I was doing it anyway, and I just knew I had this formula. So she said, do it. Go to Bristol, knock on doors, and do what you used to do. So I fucking did. And I left, and I developed my own theatre company for mental health in a bedroom of a dry house in Bristol, and it grew and grew, and I ended up just getting loads of work, and I've now got theatre companies in Bristol, in Western, Supermare. I do people on probation that have problems. I do schools, prisons, and just trying to build it as much as possible. And I do it for free. So they come, from the community, and it's something for them to do. And I've got the most amazing actors, and I've got the most amazing people. And people underestimate how amazing these people are. They're so special. And it gives them a purpose. These two women, they didn't leave their houses all through lockdown for about a year. They had pure anxiety. They couldn't even say their names. They came, they gave it a chance, and now they're like French and Saunders. They're hilarious. And they've got so much more social skills. They're going out, helping others. And it just built, man. And we got lottery funding. So I ended up getting my own lottery funding, not 4.3 million, 10 grand, just for the year to help. And, and it's just, it's really good. I get more from it, seeing them change over the weeks, than I do being on Love Island or Hollyoaks.
It's a very special thing you've created there. Like, no joke, that's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. And the podcast I do is amazing, but it's not like that. It's not like when you actually, because it's acting, so it's what I love. And I do method acting with them. They've never done acting in their lives, but I'm straight in with a method because they can use their sense memory. So method is, say, the last time you cried, you used your sense memory to think about how that felt, how it smelt, how it looked like, what you were feeling, where you were. And then you use that emotion and bring it into the scene that you're doing. Or when you last laughed, what was it like? How did it feel? And then it comes out. So, and it's like to act is not to act. So like me and you talking now, the camera's on us. We're not thinking about what we're saying. It's just coming natural. It's believable. It's the first time we've said it. That's how you should act. Even if we say the same words again, take 5. It should be as real as it is now. To act is not to act. And and they love it. And I do all these method acting exercises and use all different emotions and scenarios and relationships I can cover. And I did job interviews with the probation. One guy got a job because he goes, I know this, I've done it. Did it with Paul. And I got this other actor to play all different types of boss. So like strict boss, nice boss, flirty boss. So he was ready. You know what I mean? He'd been in prison. He didn't want to be recalled. And it's just like, wow, the power of drama, the power of improv. Because it's not like you got to learn a load of lines, right? It's just coming out your mouth. But you know the scenario.
And how many people would you do that with at once?
15 max. I do all the rehabs so I'm going back into rehabs. I do rehabs in Western, all of them. I've got more as contracts and stuff. But we're struggling at the moment because, to be honest, if I was like, why'd you give it for free? I'm like, because I wanted to give back. And I know these people on the dole, they're straight out of prison or rehab, or they ain't got loads of money. They probably won't come otherwise. But they have built their own connection. They got a WhatsApp group. They'll go out together. They got proper friends. And we help them if they've lost their phone or they need help with counselling or they need help with anything. I've got proper trained workers that can signpost them to get help with housing, with jobs, with, it's not just a drama thing. It's not just acting. And then I put on performances. So we're doing the Recovery Festival in Bristol. And, you know, we just need a bit more funding and help. I've become a CIC, and that's hard to be your own charity. You know, it's like a lot of responsibility. But I don't even get a wage. Do you know what I mean? I get a little bit of money here and there, and then just waiting for the big job, innit?
You deserve for that vehicle to be monetized because it was born out of love.
Oh, yeah.
I can see that. I've seen your whole demeanour change since you've been talking about it. It's beautiful. I love what you're doing. You deserve it to be monetized. Have you got an idea of how you can do that? Because this is something that needs to grow.
Oh, massively. And people need to realise it's just as effective as group therapy. You know, drama therapy is very effective. And obviously, yeah, straight out of rehab, your confidence is not really there. But a little bit further along, you do get that confidence. And actually, even straight, like they want to get up when they see others get up. So what I do is, I was doing this place in Oxford called Adapt, and it's like a secondary. So they've been to treatment, they've detoxed. Now they're in this secondary, and they're all lads. And they're all pretty hard, they're all like, but they like me coming in. I kind of get on with them, you know, and I really know that I can go, yeah, you're a musician. You can just tell who's who. And they say, oh, we're not going to, I'm not doing it, Paul. No, I'm not acting today. I'm like, all right, mate, you can just watch. The minute they see someone else get up, they're up. And it's usually the ones that don't want to do it that are the best, that have got so much. And then I learned a lot about creative writing. So I do creative writing with them, where you say a title like Summer. You say the word Summer is the title, and then they just write whatever summer means to them. And everyone writes something different. And it's beautiful, and it's just coming from them. And the reason I want to do all this is because kids too much are on their iPads and on their games. And I think people are forgetting about the imagination that we have. When we were younger, we played out till late. We didn't have computers. We didn't have anything. We just used our own kiddie gameplay from our brains and our imagination, our creativity. And that's getting forgotten a lot. And I think, you know, something's got to stop with all this, you know, iPad shit.
Bring back lampposts and 40-40.
No, do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm with you 100%.
Adults being kids, you know, playing, being, you know, it's that fun play, and it makes them feel good about themselves. So when I do a check-in, I make sure I see where everyone's at. We'll talk a little bit, I help them a bit with what's going on with them. And they could check in really sad and really unhappy. And by the time they leave, an hour and a half later, they're a different person, guaranteed. And it's amazing. And you just see the smile come back on their face.
Where can people find you and
Morning After Drama?
And Morning After Drama.
So, on Instagram, at Morning After Drama, or Paul Danan, at Paul Danan. I also have a parody account called Paul Danan Official, which is hilarious, on Instagram. These guys wanted to do a page, and they said, well, who was in the middle of the whole nostalgic 90s, noughties thing? Paul Danan. Like, who was falling out of China Whites and all that shit. And they called it Dananogram or whatever. And they're brilliant writers. And they started writing this funny shit that's really made up with pictures that they have from, like, the paps that they get. And, you know, Lee Ryan phoned me up and go, Paul, man, why are you saying that I was watching the plate spinning in Yo Sushi on Mitsubishi's till 4 a.m? Like, I'm doing Strictly tomorrow, man. You can't, like, take it down. I said, it's not me, Lee. It's like, I promise you. He's like, but you know, I said, it's all just made up. It's like, but it's your name. I said, yes. Yeah. So my brother said, look, don't tell him to close it down, but you need to, you need to watch it.
Have a say in it.
Yeah, and to make sure it doesn't go too below the belt. I thought that was hilarious.
The nanogram's brilliant as well, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that is it.
I know, I'm saying it's just a brilliant name.
Yeah, the nanogram, yeah. and the address is 69 Gary Street.
Obviously.
Yeah. And it just says a few pictures from my old disposable camera. And then that just reminds me of that night with Madonna. that disposable camera. I wish I could find it.
Yeah, that'd be worth some money.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, yeah, and it's gone from strength to strength. And Evening Standard magazine called it Insta Gold. And a lot of people in the industry, they follow it. You should follow it. It's really funny. And it's been going a while now. And I'm really proud of it. And we will do something out of it. So there's lots of, things in the fire. But Morning After Drama, at Morning After Drama, or morningafterdrama.com. And the Morning After with Paul Danan is my podcast. And it's all about mental health and the arts. And yeah, you know what? Like, I still struggle. I'm not going to say that I'm, the best at this stuff, but I try to stay as well as I can for myself, firstly, obviously, and mostly my little boy. It's tough. My life is very up and down, but
do you feel like you're constantly battling against something?
Yeah, and hopefully it will just go at one point where I'll just be tired of this fight, because what am I fighting? When it's all there. I read something like, it's all there for you to take right now. It's all there, man. All you got to do is take it and not go down that road. My mum always says, you do good things happen. You do bad things happen.
If I was to read in the paper that you'd relapsed again or you overdosed, after this conversation, memory we've made, I'd be upset, mate.
Yeah.
I'd be upset. So I can only imagine what people would feel that have known you their whole lives, that love you dearly. Let me round this interview off like this. I see the mainstream media lambast and vilify people as often as they can at every given opportunity because no one's perfect and they go for the low-hanging fruit. So two things. Firstly, if you used to put your name in YouTube, you're just going to get snippets of outbursts and reality TV and like all the car crash stuff.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that sitting here with you for however many hours we have.
I don't know how long it's been.
It's been fucking beautiful. And I can't think of anyone I've met for the first time and thought, I can't think of anybody more likeable.
Oh,
and I mean that.
Thank you.
I really mean that. So I want to give that back to you.
Thank you. Same you.
As a way of thanking you for sharing
Thank
all
you.
of this with me, because it does mean the world to me. The fact that you're prepared to be open and honest with me, it's only fair that I tell you how I'm feeling. And I've never met a more likeable bloke immediately. And I hope people watching this can feel what I felt today. And the last thing I want to say is, because I know that Caroline Flack was a friend of yours. And so in between bullying and what the mainstream media do to people, what would you say to people out there that are A, cruel, and B, the mainstream media? What would you say to these people that are just pumping out toxic, negative junk aimed towards individuals?
I think that they are also trying to earn a living, but they seem to think that the public only want to read that shit, when actually, look at how you've reacted to the other side of things. Yeah? Why can't they ever write? I mean, I think there's a law now where they won't write anything too bad, especially if you've got mental health or addiction issues. They're not allowed to go into it anymore. They're not allowed to really write terrible. But, thank God that's come in, because I know if, someone's tried to kill themselves or they won't write it. They won't write about it. They don't want to know, because they don't want to be responsible for anyone's demise or anything like that. But back then they didn't give a shit. And even with Caroline, she was a friend that had my back in a way, because she really wanted me on that new Love Island when they brought Love Island back. And she did this piece in the front page of the Heat magazine, and it was a picture of her with a speech bubble. And this, inside the speech bubble, it went, "Where's Paul Danan?" Front cover, there it was, my name. And she was so big at the time. And I thought, wow, she's just got the hosting the job for presenting the new Love Island. And that's what she said. That's who she thinks of when she thinks of Love Island. That's who she wants back. And they printed it, and they did get me on. They cut together this whole video, a montage of me in Celebrity Love Island. And they said on air, if it wasn't for this guy, we would not be here. back doing this show again. And we just want to thank Paul for his craziness and blah, blah, blah. And we went out that night and we had such a laugh. And she was just the most down-to-earth girl I've ever met. And she's just hanging with the crew, you know, just having a laugh. And you just thought, what a cool girl. And let me just say that I believe why she's not here today is because she never asked for help. That pride and that ego got in the way so much. She was scared of losing that job on X Factor, scared of losing that Love Island gig. So if she told them that she was using or she was drinking or she had a bad eating disorder or her head wasn't in a good space, she would lose the job. She didn't want to lose the job. So she stayed ill and silent. And now where is she? Well, there is no job. Well, there is no life. And that's the problem with me, is that that pride and ego kicks in too much. I can't let them know. Can't tell them I'm not well. You know, even my parents, it's like, oh, they're going to have a go at me if I say I've... Do you know what I mean? But that needs to go. That needs to be smashed. And thank God there's a place you can go, which is anonymous, pretty much of the time. Who you see here, what you hear here, when you leave here, let it stay here. Because gossiping is damaging and can cause relapse and death. So people take it seriously, which allows you a platform to share. Now, you know that guy sold that story on me. How can I trust this meeting, this room full of strangers? I have to. I've got no choice if I want to live. That's why I'm able to talk to you. Because if I don't grass it up and take the power out of it, it stays in there. And what is that? That's not good. You know, I always say, do the opposite to what your head tells you. So if my brain says to me, come out of here and go to London and have a good night, don't. Go home and go and see your parents and have a roast dinner. Okay. Yeah. That's God. And the other's Paul. Don't listen to Paul. Do you know what I mean? Do the opposite. Because it is usually most of the time my head will tell me to do the wrong thing, you know. And you know what tells you to do the right thing is that little thing inside you, that little instinct, that little kind of, you know, that feeling of, no, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't say that. And that's DBT, and that's dialectical behavioural therapy. One side is rational, one side is emotional. I'm all emotional. I'll react. But I need to use the rational as well. So if you use both, in the middle is the wise mind, which is just pause for a second. Is what I'm saying gonna hurt him or not? Is what I do gonna hurt her? Or, you know, it's that moment of pause, and that's mindfulness. Be in the moment, pause, and it's very good tool. DBT, not CBT, DBT, dialectical behavioural therapy. And it was like amazing what I learned. I learned about assertiveness. I learned about expectations. If you don't expect people to say thank you when you open a door, then you don't get hurt when they don't. Because I used to be like, yeah, all right, thank you. Do you know what I mean? You can't be shouting at the fucking man. I think I'm mental. Could say thank you.
Don't take it as a personal.
Fucking hell, I just let you go, motherfucker, you know. And what happens? I get angry. Resentment. Use. Number one offender, resentment. So I can't be resentful with anyone. So I've got a lot of work to do still, but I'm aware of it. And I have to look back and think, well, I'm better than I was.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
and just getting it all out there, just being brutally honest that's also beautiful.
Yeah.
That takes balls.
Yeah.
That's brave.
Yeah.
On such an open platform. So before we wrap this up,
yeah,
it's been a joy. Is there anything else that you want to say?
No, I just want to say, like, don't judge a book by its cover. Do you know what I mean? Give someone a chance. Allow people to better themselves. You know, Ronnie always said to me, betterment. It's a really good word, and it's like we can only just keep bettering ourselves and you know, and learn. And it's okay to say sorry. It's okay to make a mistake. You know, it's and if there's. If you just ask for help, try and take the power. What's going on? Try to speak to someone, you know, at least someone about it. Because if it stays just with you, just with me, then it's dangerous, you know. But no, I mean, I'm doing a play at the moment. I'm really excited about that with a really big director. So I'm doing a charity football match, and I didn't think that I'd be able to pull everyone together. Again, I was like, oh, like they're going to come and play for this football match. But they did, and they all said yes. And it's so nice that made me realise, no, man, people do, all right, they do like me.
That is testament to you.
Yeah, I didn't realise, like, you know, it's kind of really blown me away. I know it's for the kids, obviously, for the charity, but it's nice that they've reacted, like replied and said, yeah, of course we'll come and help. So I like that, and I realised that actually, yeah, I haven't burnt every bridge. Do you know, all right, I've made some mistakes, but there was never any malice or any purpose to it. You know, it was just trying to figure myself out, you know. Thanks for having me, man.
Paul, it's been a pleasure.
Wait, that's it.
It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you, brother.